Happy Mukama Mukana, so woman you would there. Yellow one pie woman. And to me, you come on, you pie, you the amazing come on when you're me. Messy firm and the Memphis Bible, Bessia as a Kurubi. Aya Kofo, na Aya Basur, Nelson Lara. Me wo for Linda, or Trega Massa, and you don't know about Kurubu. And to me, you come on, you pie, you the amazing come on when you're me. Make a day, oh yes, sir. Mary Bow Chen. Martin Day, Ibo to me, Jimmy, Sam inside, someone, meaning there, obey.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Martin Day, Ibo to me, Jimmy, Sam inside. Oh yes, sir. Mary Bow Chen. Oh, Martin Day. You go to me, Jimmy. Sam inside. Someone, meaning there. Obey, because they, oh yes, sir. Mary Bow Chen.
Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
I'll come and share.
22 minutes past the hour. Reverend Joe Beecham welcoming you to the Tuesday edition of your favorite radio show here in Accra, Ghana, the Citi Breakfast Show. Welcoming you to a week that's already set off with the family consecration service. Thousands of families gathering at the Winners Chapel, Ghana, to lift up their voice in prayer. Thank you for being with us on the first day of May. Also a day to celebrate the importance of workers. It's called Workers' Day or May Day. A big shout to all our workers, both the white and the blue colored workers in the factories, in the mines, on the storefronts, in the media houses, public service, private sector, on the farms. Congratulations, you keep the nation working. We salute you this morning. All right, so this morning I want to reflect on a couple of things that have proven true in my life. A good intention is overrated. A good intention is overrated. Or the complement of a good intention is overrated. So the fact that you mean well is not enough. Because one idea followed through with action is much better than 1,000 ideas that remain ideas. One idea followed through is much better. So don't be a person of ideas. I have a friend who's called ideas. Every day he has ideas. Can have 10 ideas a day. There's no point having 10 ideas a day. If I just got one idea that I made into an action in a day, I'll be more effective than the man of ideas. So a good intention is good, but it's overrated as a compliment, because your walk talks much more than your talk talks. Oh yes, your walk talks much more than your talk talks. So don't be a specialist in ideas. Be an expert in doing. So if you could just follow through one idea, even a week, an idea a week, you'll be surprised how much impact you make. Don't forget, we said last week, an evil person with a goal is more impactful than a good person without one. An evil person with a goal is more effective than a good person without one. So don't just have good ideas, translate those ideas into action. Business Sense brought to you by ADB. Oh yes, our idea is to make life comfortable, and our solution is the special personal loan top-up, providing you with a special need or special means of meeting your school fees, your hostel fees, your rent, your mortgage, whatever it is. Call us on 059-384-4898 or visit any of our branches nationwide. Our special personal loan top-up helps you reduce your interest rates on existing loans, extends your repayment period. Essentially is a debt exchange.
No way.
Meet Mr. Ansar. He prefers to receive money from his friends and loved ones through the Agricultural Development Bank's remittance services, and his reason is simple.
Oh, for me, my brother lives overseas and he often sends me money. I can access it at any ADB branch nationwide, and what he sends is exactly what I receive. No wahala.
Is that why you prefer ADB's remittance services?
Of course. Well, whether it is Western Union, MoneyGram, ZPay Instant Money, Unity Link, Real Money Transfer, or Transfast, receiving my money through ADB's remittance services is guaranteed. And with some of these services, you can receive the money directly into your ADB account. Do you know what the best part is?
Share with us.
You see, during this Ramadan, Easter and Eid al-Fitr, I'll be receiving money transfers. But I'm not worried because I can receive it at any ADB branch or selected branches on Saturdays and holidays. So my brother, you see, if you go somewhere else and you don't receive payment on time, all I can say is, Woko Hoko, yeah.
Visit any of ADB's 87 networked branches nationwide, whether you are a customer or not, for the best in remittance services. ADB, truly a Greek and more.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
6:30, Angelique Kidjo with a funky start to the show on Tuesday, 2nd May 2023. Big shouts to Ghanaian workers. May Day celebrations across the country. Lots of headlines coming from there. Shouts to all our viewers and listeners who took part in the family consecration service as well. I don't know about you, but we've had a lot of holidays in the past few weeks, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, I think we had Easter, I think 3 weeks ago. We had Eid al-Fitr 2 weeks ago, and then we have May Day. I actually think it's more effective that way. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, you've been chasing
then
it for
it's really nice. I mean, see how refreshed you are. Looking fresh. If you do this, it's not. Look, the world will not come to an end. Let's just add. In some countries they do Sunday is a working day, so the Monday is their rest day. Yeah. So we can reconfigure things.
Okay.
Yeah. If all of us do it, nobody will lose. I'm telling you, it's like we are going to rise and we are all done learning, so we all bump. We all go boy.
Let's remember the conversation we had about prices and whether we just like to rip people off. Actually, yesterday.
What happened to you?
Holiday. As usual, like you say, somebody in that someone said they are going to do Wig Fest.
What?
Wig
festival.
Wig festival.
Okay.
In Dansoma, Sakama. All the women
went to buy.
actually ready. No Scott from Makolaka said, "Hey, for here, these things are too cheap.
Oh, are you serious?
You are going to spoil our market. We will allow."
So they came to disrupt.
The Makola women came and spoiled the thing.
That the wigs being sold at the festival were too cheap.
It would distort the market.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you.
But that's not good.
So the events can't top.
That's calabulelistic. That's not good at all.
We are maintaining the market.
No, we have to discuss that later on. Actually, there's a story here that sort of you segue into nicely. The Guta is warning.
But Guta?
Yeah, Guta says that be ready to pay more because the new taxes kicked off today. First May is the day of. So then 3 new taxes: excise tax amendment, income tax amendment, and then the new growth and stabilization levy takes off today. And Guta says it's not good news. Now, let's just talk about the sponsor for this segment. Total says a poorly maintained car engine can age faster. That's why we offer ART formulated quartz engine oil, a breakthrough innovation that ensures optimal performance for your engine and improves protection against mechanical wear and tear. Choose quartz from Total Energies. Choose the engine oil that keeps your engine running efficiently and effectively. All right, and so there's something else that just came to mind. One of the car companies is also they are launching, or what's the word to use? Like they are opening a new assembly plant.
Okay.
So I think the first one was VW. I think Nissan and Toyota were also thinking about doing same. I don't know if they have, but I know that Kia is opening one today.
Oh.
Yeah. So what I wanted to find out was where all of this came from the whole. Automotive policy where they say they'll put a higher duty on or high import duty on old cars so that the cars made here will be cheaper. So I want those who buy the cars here to help me with the economics.
Okay.
So if somebody has $10,000 and wants a car, is the person better off trying to look for it here or looking for it from?
When you say look for it here, you mean locally assembled
yes,
car?
or to buy
from
a second hand from
the US or UK.
So those who have bought, please let me know.
Actually, just 2 weeks ago, one of our guests who comes here had bought one of those.
The new one.
Locally assembled ones. And I was asking him how it went, just to give me a fair idea of.
So maybe you can share the price of those things.
Masa, forget.
The dollar,
No, he said I should
import.
He said I should do the usual.
We'll discuss that when we come back. It's something I think we should talk about.
Yeah, I think on that note, though, let me just celebrate Toyota Ghana Limited. When you use, as though you're going to Asacho, the Gimpa bypass.
Yes.
They built such a beautiful university, which is basically I don't know, it's an extension of the University of Ghana. That's where the engineering students are.
Yes.
I've seen it. I've seen it. It's very nice.
That is how you
So
build a university.
this is like a mechanical engineering.
Yes.
The Gimpa side.
Charlie, the
I've
Gimpa
seen the
side.
building. I've
Charlie,
seen it. It's very nice.
You feel like you are in some other
You
country.
feel you're in Tokyo.
Yeah.
That and we are wasting time, but let me just hamper that. That also brings into question the links between industry and academia. Brilliant. Because a lot of the countries that we admire, they have these factories and universities working together. In fact, the university I attended for my master's, they have a place called the Warwick Manufacturing Group,
Powerful.
where the automotive industry of Coventry takes all their engineering students through practicals and things. So Toyota and Eugene, Charlie, yeah, fair. In the meantime, let's come back to Earth.
Yes.
And deal with politics.
In Umofia, aka Ghana.
Yes, what
and
are
the
the
front
topics?
page has workers, our boss, Dr. Anthony Alba. He says 10 cathedral into hospital.
All right.
TUC tells government. The AG is also on the front page of the paper. He says 727 on trial for Galamsey. And the president says we'll protect incomes, pensions of workers.
Let me take you to the Chronicle. Alan Cash Plaques votes in Accra, insists he will pay SNET pensions of MPP workers. Also, Galamsey report, Akroso MP jumps to defense of Captain Koda. Also, NLA approves a game park to operate lottery in Ghana. There's another story here on Galamsey. Primpark says, oh, Prof, Kojo didn't do that, reacting to what Professor Frempong Boateng
That's a nice headline.
Claimed about Kojo Opon Nkrumah. Also, oh God, help me with wisdom to solve Boku conflict. This according to our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
And then I have two business papers, Bernard, this morning. I'll start with the graphic business. Tax evasion, avoidance, imminent. Analysts caution as new tax regime kicks in. Business associations mount pressure on government. Interest rates to return toward pre-pandemic levels, and international community committed to Ghana's economic recovery.
Let me take you to the final. Government will protect incomes and pensions, according to our president, who is saying welfare, well-being of workers will be his priority. Also, I can break the 8 and unite citizenry for growth, according to Alan Chermanting. EPA boss calls on National Chief Imam to lead crusade for environmental safety. And then also, many subscribers angry as they discover unknown phone numbers linked to their Ghana cards. This thing is a murky thing.
Finally, from me, Bernard, the front page of the BNFT, the Financial Stability Fund, Bernard, it says for operationalization with $750 million. In agriculture, feed cost diseases continue to squeeze aquaculture industry, and private funds will unlock economic recovery potential. This is Albert Essien speaking.
Finally, from me, I have the Anchor newspaper. Minerals Commission is said to be the most resourced public institution within our country. This is according to the CEO, who is revealing that the company is beginning a 24-hour processing of mining license, and they are including Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
Also, Asin South gets new court. MP's interventions are commended. Attaining peace in Boko will give me greater joy, according to our president, and government to build gold refinery for small-scale mining industry.
All right, let me take you online if you are done with your stories. MPs to reconvene today for urgent parliamentary business. City News leads with that story. Also, economy making ordinary Ghanaian workers worse off. This is organized labor. Meanwhile, there's good news. Fuel prices to remain stable according to COPEC. But the bad news is new taxes, be ready to pay more, Guta tells consumers. And then Dafia Mekpo goes to Supreme Court over appointment of MPP in quote EC board members. And still on citynewsroom.com, convert National Cathedral project into hospital. This is TUC, you read the story already. Pay us new improved salaries now, JUSAC to government. And one person trapped in collapsed story building at Adenta. Meanwhile, Clocksack is warning the president not to touch our pension funds or the government. And then thousands attend City TV, City FM, City Family Consecration Service. My Joy Online is leading with Akufo-Addo's assurance. Government won't shortchange workers in protecting their pension amid debt restriction. He addressed that yesterday. Meanwhile, the abuse of entrusted power for private gain is the currency. Special prosecutor on state corruption and capture and fraud. And a few other stories. Cuba cancels May Day parade because of fuel shortages. And then illegal mining is becoming prevalent that communities are accepting it. This is the Elembele DCE. If you go to Citi Business, the president is assuring, same story on Joy, we are doing everything possible to resolve economic crisis, says the president. Meanwhile, GRE to begin implementing 3 new taxes today. Let me add, on the quiet. Implementing on the quiet. Meanwhile, EIU predicts delay in IMF board approval for Ghana. There's a couple of stories I just want to touch on internationally. BBC has a story that I find quite interesting.
What are they saying?
AI chatbots may soon be more intelligent than us.
Yeah, the guys inventing it have been talking about
Sky,
it.
how
the
can
guy at Google resigned?
Sky, how can the invention be more intelligent than the inventor?
Bernard, it is a question of how much it's learned.
Oh,
you know,
please.
so much data in it.
But once the person who created you is obviously more intelligent than you, the creature.
Bernard,
you can use it to do a lot of things, but what is intelligence?
You see, there's something known as singularity.
Processing power.
You see.
Anyway, we'll read it. I'm just giving you the headline. Let's not argue about this. We're told also that Russia troop deaths hit 20,000 in 5 months, according to the US. I don't know how they got to know this matter. Now, let me just give you a few more stories. In the Sudan, there's still a lot of trouble in Sudan, guys, because the situation has not improved.
Yeah, I saw them burning the central bank building.
Yeah, so it's now BBC's headline says Sudan rivals agree to stable ceasefire talks, according to the UN envoy. All right. There's also a story about a Kenyan starvation cult. And stories are emerging. So there's a church or cult that sort of got people to do crazy things. Yes. 100 people starved to death. They've interviewed a man who says his wife and 6 children joined the cult. He probably didn't even know. And then there are a number of stories from Sudan. Fighter jets are rolling over my home in Sudan, stranded in Sudan with passports locked in Western embassies. Lots of troubling stories this morning. In fact, if you go to the East African news portals, they are saying the UN is warning of mass exodus from Sudan as millions of Sudanese unable to afford inflated prices have sheltered in their homes. Just 2 men fighting for power.
Yep.
You know, Charlie.
With foreign interest.
Hey, you.
2 men with a lot of guns.
The flames.
Yes.
Yeah.
Charlie, let's be careful, though. Let's get the headline. I think the TUC and the president's a nice story to start with.
I want to start off with the Daybreak newspaper, which has a story that says, don't touch our pension funds, according to Clocksack. They are warning government. They are not taking any chances with this matter. Now, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Clocksack, have strongly cautioned the government not to touch its pension funds as part of efforts in reviving the economy. Now, the government is currently seeking a $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund to revive the ailing economy. In order to get the support, it has embarked on a domestic debt restructuring program. Now, pension funds were initially exempted from the debt exchange program, but the finance minister in a recent interview said discussions are underway with labor unions to see how their pension funds can be used to help the government meet certain targets. But speaking as part of the May Day celebration on the theme protecting our pensions and incomes now to avert old age crisis, the Deputy Executive Secretary of the association, Kojo Krakani, said it will continue to fight for better working conditions for its members.
The workers are also advising the government to convert the National Cathedral into a hospital. That's the graphics front page.
Yes. Now, the TUC has asked the government to convert the National Cathedral project into a hospital, suggesting a number of actions that the government must take to help improve the current economic challenges the country was facing. The TUC said the cathedral project was not an essential expenditure and would better serve a purpose if converted into a hospital. Quote, the president always said he wants to create another Notre Dame in Ghana so we can attract a lot of visitors. But we disagree. In fact, comrades, it will be better to convert the project into a national hospital. They also addressed a couple of other issues with regards to the economy. Although Dr. Ma acknowledged the impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war on the global economy, workers did not believe they were the fundamental cause of Ghana's economic woes. Quote, the two have exposed the weaknesses in the Ghanaian economy and the economic policy framework that has guided economic management in the country in the last 40 years. The reason Ghana has had to seek IMF support almost every 3 years is largely due to the flaws in the way our economy has been managed, based on neoliberal free market ideology.
Meanwhile, the president is responding to the workers in in the matter of the pensions.
Exactly. So the final has that story on page 2 by Elvis Dako. Says President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has assured Ghanaian workers that despite the economic challenges facing the country, government will take all the necessary steps and measures to protect their incomes and pensions. Now, he noted that government is mindful of the potential impact of the domestic debt exchange program on pension funds and will not act in any way to shortchange Ghanaian workers. There's a quote here that says, I want to reassure you that government will do whatever it takes to protect your incomes and pensions in these challenging times. We hope that the president means his word, because the last time he said he was going to protect people something.
No, he said there was no haircut.
And then haircut came.
Because the person who had the razor was different. So he didn't know. Now, I want you to stay in the labor front.
Yeah, but there's something I want to mention quickly about him saying that government has made substantial progress to secure the IMF deal. And that story says that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, still in the finder, has said that government has made substantial progress in the negotiation with bilateral creditors and the domestic debt exchange program to secure financial support for the International Monetary Fund.
Now, two quick stories in relation. So yesterday as well, there was a story from organized labor that Ghanaian workers have been made worse off by the economy. And this was from Dr. Kwabena Otu, who was on the point of view on Monday. Now, his position seems to have been corroborated by what Guta is saying. Guta says, be ready to pay more. The Ghana Union of Traders Association has asked consumers to brace themselves for an increase in the price of goods and services. This was the implementation of the 3 new taxes on Monday, May the 1st, which of course takes effect from today, Tuesday, the first working day. The trading community vehemently opposed the 3 taxes, which include the Excise Amendment Act 2023, the Income Tax Amendment Act 2023, and the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act. In an interview with Citi News, President of Guta, Dr. Joseph Obin, says his members have no other option than to pass on the effect of the taxes to consumers. The only reprieve, though, is that the petroleum prices are expected to remain stable this week. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers has predicted stability in fuel prices in the first pricing window of the month of May. According to COPEC, this is due to the decrease in international benchmark price of petroleum products on international markets. And in fact, the prices for oil this morning have been announced, and that seems to have been corroborated by that. So there is let me just get the figure that they sent, but it's not higher than the previous one.
Okay.
So that seems to suggest that at least for the next window, things will be more stable.
Okay, Bernard, let me take you back to the Daybreak, because there's a story there still about workers. We're told that there's a turf war at the Ghanaian Times.
Why?
And the story says that the management of New Times Corporation, publishers of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, is tuttering for explanation over its decision to lease a portion of its office land to some Indians for 25 years. Now, the move, Daybreak sources say, is part of an elaborate plan to raise funds to purchase a new printing machine for the company. Now, the paper further gathers that this austerity measure has become necessary because the corporation has mounting debt to its printers and people within the industry. Now, the company had advertised its preparedness to let some warehouses and offices at its Fio Oyo Street.
Fio Oyo. Fair Oyo.
Fair Oyo, okay.
Or Fair Oyo.
Something okay. Like that. Now, we're told that the staff are not happy with this decision to lease a portion of their land to Indians and all of that. And this is creating some serious.
Let me just give you the price. So, super in the March pricing window for gold was 12.95 per, I think it's per liter. It's now come down to 12.64.
Okay.
And then diesel in the previous pricing window was 13.49. It's also 12.64.
So there's some reduction.
So marginal reduction, which is what COPEC is saying. MPs to reconvene for urgent parliamentary business. I don't know if you have that story.
No, I don't.
Citi Newsroom is leading with that. Members of Parliament are expected to come back to the House today after the recall by the Speaker of Parliament for, quote, urgent parliamentary business. Some MPs have claimed that the recall is to compel them to give government clearance to go for another loan. The House went on break March 31 after passing 3 controversial tax bills into law, with the Nanton MP involved in an accident on his way to Parliament to partake in the vote to approve the bills. That night, the MPs also approved 2 additional Supreme Court justices who had been vetted by the Appointments Committee earlier in the year. Abambabi, in a statement recalling the legislators, said, quote, in exercise of the powers conferred on the Speaker by Order 42.3 of the Standing Orders of Parliament, I, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, Speaker of Parliament, do hereby direct that Parliament shall, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, be recalled from recess to sit on Tuesday, the 2nd of May, 2023, at 10 o'clock in the forenoon at Parliament House to consider urgent parliamentary business. So he didn't specify the business. Now, in a tweet, the minority leader, Dr. Kasiato Folsen, alleged that the recall was to compel MPs to approve the government's decision to go on another borrowing spree.
Well, speaking of that, on the front page of the graphic
Did he
business,
say compel?
Yeah, that's the word he used. But they'll have a chance to decide to vote. How will it be compelled?
I don't know about compel.
I don't know. But he says he's been inundated with calls asking why they've been recalled. When were they originally supposed to come back?
Sometime around 25th thereabout of May.
So this will be a short one.
Yeah,
That's
so
what it
yes, it will be short. I'm sure that
Maybe some deadlines have to be met.
Yeah, because it was to be taken. These things were to be taken when the House was adjourning.
Oh, okay.
But the minority pushed back because they said, look, they were tired and some of the things needed further consideration.
So the reopening is actually later in the month of May. All right, so we'll see how that goes.
yes, front page of the graphic business, tax evasion avoidance imminent, and this is coming because of the new taxes that start today. Charles Benonu writes that government's 3 new taxes to improve its badly needed cash flow makes tax evasion and avoidance imminent. Tax analysts have cautioned. The experts strongly believe that the excise duty, income tax amendment, and the Growth and Sustainability Amendment Acts, which kicked in from May 1, will rather impact tax revenue collection negatively. The story then goes on to quote a couple of experts.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that.
Meanwhile, the Chronicle is highlighting the intention of the Ghana Water Company Limited to open the Wager Dam, the spillage way, so that they will release excess water in the dam. And they are also cautioning about the potential that it might affect property, and that they are asking people to take notice of some of these things, and also asking government to do the right thing by ensuring that people do not include these areas.
Stay in the Chronicle and bring me the Alan story as we enter a bit of politics this morning.
Yep. So we are told that Alan has been plucking votes in Accra. The story is by Sebastian R. Freku. On page 3 says the presidential candidate hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Alan Tremantin, has pledged to put executives of the party on monthly salaries when elected flag bearer. Now, the executives, he said, would also earn social security and pensions. Now, speaking after the Greater Accra version
he
of
pulled some numbers. Wow.
Drew so.
No, like it was pretty serious.
Drew, so no, he has to explain it.
Walk last Saturday,
He says this is 10.
in which over 300,000 Ghanaians participated. 300,000 Ghanaians.
That's what they say. I mean, there was a bit of traffic in town over the period, but I don't know about the 300,000. But if you look at the sheer number of people who turned out, it was serious.
Wow. And then we are told that the MPP flag bearer hopeful pledged to set up businesses across the constituencies that would generate revenue to pay the party officials. Wow. Now, the industrial revolutionist who served as the trade and industry minister explained his plans that he would raise revenue to pay all party executives across the country when elected a flag bearer.
There's an interesting angle to the story, Godfred. A group of old students of Adisadel College, and mind you, Kennedy Japan is also an Adisco person, as is Katie Hammond and a few others. The Santa Clausians for Alan endorsed Mr. Chamantin's candidature during the war. Carlos Kingsley Ahinkra, MP for Tema West, said Chamantin. I didn't know that Carlos was an Adisco boy. Chamantin had been a long-serving MP, and that just as President Akufo-Addo was endorsed, yes, a long-serving member of the MPP, and just as President Akufo-Addo was endorsed when the party felt it was his turn. See the thing? Same must be done for Alan. Now, according to him, Alan's competency had been proven over time. Now, an old student of Adisadel College, 97-year group, just 1 year ahead of me, and co-coordinator of the Santa Clausians for Alan, Alfred Mensah Onuma, touted Alan K as an industrial genius.
Thank you.
Who when given the nod will cause an industrial revolution in the country. Hey! Now, permanent party members who attended were Sly Tete, Ayikwe Otu, Carlos Ahinkra, Adumaku Kisi, Pope. I don't know who Pope is. Who is Pope? I don't know. Hobson Adoye and Nana Ohininto. Others include Yao Boabing Asamoah. I believe so. Catherine Afeku, Richard Nyama. Killers Day.
Anyway, on page 58, there's somebody, and a Greek Avatar
Yes.
also wants to leave the party. He just says that
Who is
I
this?
believe in potential of Ghanaian workers.
Is this my man? Yeah. Charlie, what's
He's
this?
hiding on page 58.
Yes, give him some props for me. He's a big man. You know, there's a picture of him. Whoever took that picture needs to be sanctioned to you know, he's wearing Wellington boots, and then he's wearing like some Jokotobi, and then he's tack. You know what they call tacking? Tack Jokotobi, Wellington boots, and then he's put his hand on his waist, and then he's wearing a hat.
Let me see how far.
Charlie, that picture.
So let me give you two quick stories.
It's a serious matter.
To link with
the
what Sky was discussing before the newspaper review. Well, on page 32 of the Daily Graphic, the Vice Chancellor of the Presbyterian University, Professor Ebenezer Ojo-Usu, he has called on the government and business community to commit more resources. The Presbyterian University of Ghana.
So former Legon VC is now VC of Presbyterian University. Okay.
Okay. Well, he says that they need to collaborate more. They need to support research at the universities. Okay. So he's made that call. And then finally from me, a story that makes you and I very happy, will make Sky very happy, will make all the pot-bellied people happy.
Bless you.
6 packs come with risk of depression.
Oh, it's not true.
On page 38 of his opinion, on page 38 of the Daily Graphic by Professor Raphael Nyakote Obu. He says the term 6-pack refers typically to the rectus abdominis muscle. Flynn and Vickerton explain that the rectus abdominis muscle runs from the sternum to the pelvic bone and is responsible for dynamically flexing the spine forward. If you don't have 6-pack,
let's get serious. I have two stories.
That is serious.
UN warns that over 800,000 civilians could flee Sudan. Now, this story is troubling. It's from the AFP. It says that the UN on Monday warned that more than 800,000 people could flee fighting and dire conditions in Sudan, where explosions again shook the capital in violation of the latest truce extension agreed by the warring generals. The chaos and bloodshed now, in their third week, have already sparked an exodus of tens of thousands of Sudanese to neighboring countries, including Egypt, Chad, and the Central African Republic. But the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, said it was bracing for the possibility that over 800,000 people may flee the fighting in Sudan for neighboring countries. Now, this is not good. Let me end with the AI matter.
Okay.
Now, the BBC is reporting that AI's godfather, Geoffrey Hinton, is warning of dangers as he quits Google. A man widely seen as the godfather of artificial intelligence has quit his job, warning about the growing dangers from developments in the field. Geoffrey Hinton, age 75, announced his resignation from Google in a statement to the New York Times, saying he now regretted his work. He told the BBC some of the dangers of AI chatbots were quite scary. Right now, they are not more intelligent than us, as far as I can tell. But I think they may soon be. Dr. Hinton also accepted that his age had played into his decision to leave the tech giant, telling the BBC, "I'm 75, so it's time to retire." Now, this is the background. Dr. Hinton's pioneering research on deep learning and neural networks paved the way for the current AI systems like ChatGPT. But the British-Canadian cognitive psychologist and computer scientist told the BBC that chatbots could soon overtake the level of information that the human brain holds. And you see, right now we are seeing what we are seeing is things like GPT-4 eclipses a person in the amount of general knowledge it has. And it eclipses them by a long way. In terms of reasoning, it's not as good, but it does already do simple reasoning. Right, so different types of intelligence. We'll see. Sky, we can talk about that later. I know you've done some work there as well. That was the newspaper review brought to you by ordinary human beings. Coming up next.
Very soon you have to, I do
nice. They can't laugh like you. They can't laugh like you. They'll be laughing like machines.
Thank you.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies dear improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman.
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
City Business News brought to you by Goyle and also by MTN. All right, Idrissa Mustafa is here with the news. Good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Coming up, Ghana Union of Traders Association hint of plans to increase prices of goods and services following the implementation of the 3 new revenue taxes. And later, Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana COPEC predicts stability in fuel prices for the first pricing window of May. Thank you very much for staying with us. Details of our stories now. The Ghana Union of Traders Association GUTA has stated that it encountered many difficulties in convincing government not to assent to the newly introduced revenue bills. Government commenced the implementation for the new and revised taxes, which were introduced in the 2023 budget on May 1. This comes despite calls from the business community that there are many taxes which are already collapsing businesses. The new and revised taxes include the Excise Amendment Act 2023, Income Tax Amendment Act 2023, and the Growth and Sustainability Levy Act 2023. President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, in an interview with Citi Business News, said despite the limited options, they will further engage government to review the new taxes as it will compound their hardships.
It's a consensus building that we should have engaged ourselves to evaluate and dissect the taxes on the table. And at the end of the day, a possible review would have done where businesses can also have some respite. This is all that we were expecting. And we believe that once we have the media budget very soon, we can still engage government so that we can achieve our aims. But we feel very much trapped. The business community is not that there's nothing that we could have done, but because of the importance of the IMF program, we have to be very careful. We have to fight this thing with tact so that government can successfully bring the IMF program. But then it shouldn't be done whilst businesses also are sacrificed or are destroyed. This is essentially why the business community have been I wouldn't say quiet, but then also try to be tactful in our dealing with government. Yeah.
That was the president of GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana COPEC is predicting stability in fuel prices in the first pricing window of May. According to COPEC, this is due to the decrease on the international benchmark pricing of petroleum products on the international market. Speaking to Citi News, Executive Secretary for COPEC, Duncan Amoah, indicated that various oil marketing companies which quoted higher prices for diesel, for instance, in the second pricing window in April, will reduce it to correspond with petrol prices.
You have a situation where international benchmarks or prices globally have declined. For petrol, you saw almost $32 decline per metric ton. Diesel did about 40. LPG wasn't much. Unfortunately, you would have had a lot of reduction for this window, but the cedi hasn't been that stable. And so what happens is that the gains that you would have chalked on the international market somehow get wiped out by the city's depreciation over the same period, which has seen the city depreciate by some 3.6%. So generally, what is expected is that prices will be stable. The outliers will be those who quoted higher for diesel, the passing window, which is the second window in April, likely to decline by some 10-15%. For the prices to now almost meet where you pay almost same for petrol as you pay for diesel.
Duncan Amoa further advocated for attention to be given to stabilizing the local currency to sustain reduction at the various pumps.
The world market benchmarks are declining, and so if we focus our attention more on stabilizing the local currency, the city, it is expected that we will be able to sustain reductions at the pump. The good news we hear from the grapevine is that we are likely to hit a certain IMF money somewhere the middle of May 15th, to be precise. Once that comes in and the city can be a bit stable or be able to gain, then it's likely you may be able to get fuel prices go down through the month of May.
Duncan Amoa is the Executive Secretary for the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Ghana. Let's now turn attention to the forex market and on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves. The dollar is selling at 10 cedis 96 pesos. It's recorded no price change. The British pound remained unchanged and is selling at 13 cedis 76 pesos. The euro also remained unchanged and is selling at 12 cedis 9 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus in the capital, the dollar is selling for 12 cedis 40 pesos, while the British pound is selling at 14 cedis 90 pesos, and the euro is going for 12 cedis 90 pesos. Now, government has reiterated calls for its development partners to rally behind its agenda of using the Financial Stability Fund to reduce the negative impact of the domestic debt exchange program on the banking sector. Government explains that any support from its development partners to the fund will help bolster economic growth. Speaking at the signing of the Compact for the Implementation of United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework between the UN and the Government of Ghana in Accra, the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Mohammed Amin Adam, assured of government's commitment of $750 million to the fund, which includes $250 million loan from the World Bank.
The domestic debt exchange program was not without challenges. This is the first time we have traveled this journey, and therefore some banks have been hit. It's for this reason, as part of our programming, the government decided to set up the Ghana Financial Stability Fund to, among others, provide solvency and liquidity support to eligible financial sector institutions which may be affected by the program. Government is immediately committing $750 million to the solvency fund, and this includes $250 million loan from the World Bank. We therefore call upon all our development partners to support the establishment of this fund in order to strengthen our local banking industry to support economic growth in the country.
That was the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Mohammed Amin Adam. The Forestry Research Institute of Ghana, under the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, is advocating for farmers, particularly those in the northern part of Ghana, to adopt mixed farming strategies to ensure sustained food production. The researchers are warning that with the population's growth, if farmers do not find better ways of utilizing a unit piece of land, it will impact negatively on the environment. There is more in the following report by Citi News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opomafo.
The world's population is estimated to grow to about 97 billion by 2050. This will then result in increased global demand for food. In a bid to meet the food and nutrition demands of the rising population, researchers at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research are calling for sustainable intensification and production of more food on the same piece of land. Professor Daniel Fori is the director of the Forestry Research Institute of Ghana under the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research.
Some people will tend to grow or adapt monocropping. That is, if you adapt monocropping, you have a lot of problems, pests, diseases, and other environmental issues. So what we are advising is we go into mixed farming system where you have a lot of different food crops on the same land. You can have your animals on the same land, and then you feed your animal with some of the residues of your food crops, and you use the droppings of animals to manage the land.
On his part, the Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Professor Paul Bosu, stressed the need to ensure better land management approaches, especially in the northern part of Ghana.
Ensuring better land management approaches that take into account the needs of local people will no doubt lead to an improvement in productivity, reduction in biodiversity loss, mitigation of climate change effects, which will ultimately contribute to the socio-economic development in the region.
That was the Director General of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Professor Paul Bosu, ending that report by Citi News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opon Mafo. Let's now join Mark Jordan Sikanati of Data Bank for the latest update on the bonds market.
At last Friday's money market auction, the Treasury raised 2.07 billion Ghana cedis across the 91-day and the 182-day bills, exceeding the overall target by 30.42%. The 91-day yield gained 8 basis points to 19.95%, while the 182-day yield increased 13 basis points to settle at 22.71%. Trading activity on the local secondary bond market was down from the prior week, with a total volume traded of 416.61 million Ghana cedis. The net loss in bond prices drove down the Data Bank bond index to close at 97.02 points, with an average yield to maturity of 9.8%.
That was Mark Jordan Sikanati of Data Bank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Have a good business day.
Want to feel energized for more? Fuel up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products.
We come back it up, lock it up, that can't take this. You don't know. Dada bless we drop one, then one cause traffic.
All right, now the reason this AI story is worrying me is that now we are being told that artificial intelligence could affect 300 million jobs. Now, what's funny is yesterday we had World Labor Day, all right? And all of us were talking about salaries, pensions, Well, there's a report that says that artificial intelligence could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. And this is a Goldman Sachs report. It says it could replace a quarter of work tasks in the US and Europe, but may also mean new jobs and a productivity boom. So it could also increase the total annual value of goods and services by 7%. And there are different kinds of AI. Where there's one they call generative AI, which is able to create content indistinguishable from human work. This is serious for people. And the guy whose work in psychology and computer science created the space for artificial intelligence has resigned from Google, saying he's very worried that very soon chatbots could be smarter than human beings. You know, it's something we should discuss. And it's funny that in Ghana on World Labor Day, nobody's talking about whether there will even be work to do. Of course, the uptake of AI is very slow in Ghana. But the thing is that when something happens in the Western world who are advanced in technology, it affects us inevitably. Look, a lot of our people go and work there. That's the first thing. So all the Ghanaians and people from Africa who work in the Western world will be affected. And eventually those technologies will be brought here. So we need to talk about the future of work. All right, whether productivity at all costs is what we want, or whether living wage and incomes, and how do we balance people's right and need to work with society's quest to advance. These are very important questions that for some reason, obviously because of the current economic situation, we didn't discuss, but I feel these things should be at the forefront of discussions on World Labor Day. If 300 million full-time jobs could be wiped out by machines, and if I look at the companies at the top end of technology in the world, a lot of these companies will sacrifice human beings for money, and I'll tell you that for free. A lot of these companies, they will do. I mean, look, they lay people off, and their share price goes up. So right, so they're not thinking about you; they are thinking about money. So you are workers are just a tool for them. And organized labor should engage these problems also. It's not just every day, yeah. You know, because if there's no work, yesterday on Monday when I spoke to Abraham, because he said, look, if companies collapse, there's no organized labor because there's no work for them to do. So if people are not working, there's no even organized labor. So organized labor should focus on keeping people in work. And it doesn't seem to preoccupy us. All we think about is, income, more salary. Let's be careful. Well, kickoff is next, brought to us by Lesheho Savings and Loan. Call us for our fixed deposit account. We have 91-day, 182-day, or 365-day flexible deposits. Our phone number is 057-770-7700. We are a safe haven for your investments. Show is also brought to us by Shell Fuel Save. Our triple action formula improves engine efficiency, prevents deposit buildup, and protects your engine from wear and corrosion for extra clean, extra protection, and extra savings. Go well. Good weekend for Ghanaian footballers abroad. Semenyo has a goal. Kamaldeen has an assist. Jordan scores again. What else is in the news, Benjamin?
Well, a lot in the news. There's Arsenal-Chelsea happening, and it's a big game. Yes, big game for Arsenal. I don't know about Chelsea, though. These days, there's really nothing to play for. In the Ghana Premier League, Adriana Stars, they remain top of the league despite draw with Kotoku Royals. And in the NBA, the Nuggets take a 2-0 lead against the Suns, while the Sixers beat the Celtics on the road, even without Joel Embiid. Let's get to the details of our stories now. And Pando Hearts of Lions have won the 2022-2023 Division 1 League Zone 3, effectively securing their promotion to the next season of the Bet Power Premier League. Now, the club were relegated in the 2014-2015 season and will now make their return to the Elite League after an 8-year absence. Their promotion to the top flight was confirmed following the defeats to two of their closest rivals on March week 25. Now, Hearts of Lions have won 18, drawn 2, and lost 4 of their last 24 league matches, topping the table with 56 points. As a result, the Pando-based club now have a 16-point advantage over the chasing pack, who still have 5 league games left to play. So Hearts of Lions are back in the Ghana Premier League. Still on the Ghana Premier League, ex-Kumasi Asante Kotoko midfielder Yusuf Chipsa has outlined a number of factors rendering the local top flight unattractive in the last couple of seasons. Ghana's topmost league has not churned out the best of numbers with respect to spectatorship at the various venues this season. Now, speaking to City Sports in an exclusive, Chipsa wants the scheduling of the Premier League matches to be revised and also charge match officials to deliver at their best in a bid to make the league more competitive and appealing.
It's a whole lot of factors. For me, I personally think we should have a competitor analysis to see what are the other competing games with our Premier League. That could be a huge factor. We should also, one area that I also personally, this is my personal opinion, I think officiating hasn't been the best. And it's another issue that has been discouraging people from coming to the stadium, because most times they think that some of the referees are not up to the task, and that is also, for me, that is also a factor discouraging people from patronizing the game. But it's a whole lot of factors. I mean, we have to, this is a whole topic that needs to be discussed. But for me, I think we should do a competitor analysis to see what are some of the factors that are affecting the foreign games. Introduction of the foreign games now on our digital platforms is also a huge factor. It's posing a big competition for our domestic league, and people are choosing the professional league or the foreign leagues over our leagues, and that is something that is worrying.
So you heard former Asante Kotoko midfielder Yusuf Chipsa speaking there. Let's get to some more Bet Power Premier League related stuff. And Kotoku Royals, they held Aduana Stars to a 1-1 draw in a game that was played yesterday. Head coach of Aduana Stars is Parkwesi Fabian. He expressed his dissatisfaction with officiating on the day.
Not the result I'm looking for, but I'm really highly disappointed in the referee in the second half. Because every ball that we came to tackle here, it's a foul against us. Look at the number of free kicks he gave them in the second half. Is that how we want to champion of the league? It's very bad. You can get chances and miss them. But we scored one, and we were playing well until the referees changed all of a sudden in the second half, giving them free kicks upon free kicks around the 18. For what? Even it's on the slightest tackle, foul. Slightest tackle, foul. Why? Well, we take one game at a time. But I'm really, really disappointed in the referee today. Very disappointed. I never talk about referees, but I'm highly disappointed in him for what he has done today.
You heard Aduana Stars head coach Parkwesi Fabian speaking. The head coach of Kotoku Royals, John Eduafo, was impressed with the performance of his players.
For the performance, yes, but the results, no. Good performance. We created a lot of goal scoring chances, but we couldn't score as we expected until the final last minute. We got this free kick, and out of it, we had the equalizer. I'm highly impressed by the performance they are putting up. They are really showing character and good attitude on the field to the last end. But then the results, we were expecting a maximum win and pick the 3 points. But a draw is equally good than lose. Until we play our last game, I will never accept the fact that we can't survive until we play our last game. We are taking it game by game. We have picked a point, yes. We are looking forward for the next game that is coming.
You had Johnny Duafo, who is head coach of Kotoku Royals Football Club. Now, when you get to the league table, Aduana Stars, they have 51 points. There's Bechem United on 48 points. We have third, Mediama on 47, and Hartsofo completing the top four with 45 points. Let's get to some Premier League action, and let's recap what happened yesterday. Leicester City and Everton were engaged in a relegation 3 points. The game ended 2-2, and both teams remain in the danger zone. Now, today at 7 p.m., Arsenal will host Chelsea Football Club in a game where the Gunners will be seeking to end their current skid. They've gone 4 games without a victory. They'll be hoping to end that today. Now, Mikel Arteta is not giving up the fight in the title race with 5 games to go.
We have achieved what it was difficult to achieve, and we can still achieve the Premier League because it's 5 games to go. And a lot of things are going to happen still. What we have to do is forget about what happened last week, learn from it, and move on into the next game with a full tilt at home with our people, London Derby, and put things right. To get us back into the Champions League was already a difficult thing to achieve, and not a lot of people was very optimistic that we had the ability to do it at the start of the season. So Vestra recognized all the good work that a lot of people has done to achieve that. And the second thing that is what I like the most is that even achieving that with 6 games to go, something I don't think has happened in more than a decade at this club, we're still not satisfied and we're still upset and we want more. So we want to be the club that we want to be consistently with the best. That's the mentality that we need, and that's what I loved more the last few days.
Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta speaking there to the camp of Chelsea. And interim Chelsea manager Frank Lampard has outlined the issues within the club as they search for their first win in 8 matches.
I've been here in periods where the club where they have had confidence has been low because nobody likes losing games. And I had moments here as a player where we dropped our standards as a collective and had to lift it. Fortunately, in those periods, when you look back over history, we managed to get it back through hard work, maybe level of the squad, whatever at the time. We changed manager a lot in some of those periods. So it's certainly not one to try and compare generations or eras. It's just different now, you know, in terms of the modern player, the squad that we have here and what expectations are. So the only thing we can do is consider the moment now and the future as a club and work very hard to get the squad where we want it and also to get the players performing so that confidence word is not like a big word I'm using in my press conference every week, because at a club like this, you should work hard and the level of player, it shouldn't be talking about team confidence, but it's clearly an issue at the minute that needs to be addressed.
Chelsea interim manager Frank Lampard speaking there. Let's finish off with some NBA, and the playoffs is still rolling along really nicely. There was a game between the Sixers and the Celtics, the Eastern Conference semi-finals game 1, and the Sixers were without star big man Joel Embiid. That did not matter. James Harden, the Beard, he dropped 45 points with 6 assists to help beat the Celtics 119-115. In the other Western Conference semi-final game 2 between the Suns and the Nuggets have taken a 2-0 lead. Nikola Jokic scoring 39 points in that game to lead the Nuggets to a 97-87 victory over the Phoenix Suns. So that's what's going on with the NBA playoffs. That's all for this morning's edition of Kickoff. My name is Benjamin Nketia. There's more sports at citysportsonline.com.
Extra, let me tell you all about it.
Hey, Dolomistic. You and this your extra thing. Abeg, tell me about it.
Abenquine, look, extra is what you and your car get when you switch to Shell Fuel Save. Extra protection, extra clean, and extra savings. You get it?
And no, I mean, tell me extra.
Shell Fuel Save is designed to improve engine efficiency instantly and with triple action formula that helps protect your engine from wear, corrosion, and deposits, so you get extra kilometers out of your drive.
Sir, and you're not extra,
good for your engine.
Extra, good for your pocket.
Extra kilometers goes a long way. Switch to Shell Fuel Save today. Go well.
If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number one. Let's share go, we improve your life.
Let's share go, mama.
Even when you're stuck with nothing,
come to Let's share go.
No matter your situation,
come to Let's share go.
Let's share go, we improve your life.
Let's share go, let's share go, mama.
Let's share go, we improve your life.
Let's share go savings and loans. Let's improve life.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Health Tidbits is brought to you by the Nyaho Medical Center.
Welcome to Nyaho Health in the City. Today's health tip is on chlamydia, a bacterial infection that affects both men and women and is spread through sexual contact. It can cause permanent damage to a woman's reproductive system, making it difficult or impossible to get pregnant later. It is one of the most common STIs, and many people who have it do not experience any symptoms. When symptoms do occur, they might include pain during urination, discharge from the genitals, and pain or bleeding during sex. Unusual vaginal discharge, pain in the lower abdomen, and sometimes bleeding between periods. If left untreated, chlamydia can lead to long-term health problems such as infertility. Chlamydia can also cause a potentially fatal ectopic pregnancy, that is, pregnancy that occurs outside the womb. Remember, the best way to manage chlamydia is to get tested and treated properly and to practice safe sex to prevent the spread of the infection. Seek expert care. Call or WhatsApp us on 050-143-6662 for further enquiries, or follow Nyaho Medical Center on social media for more health in the city tips. Nyaho, improving your quality of life.
Health Tidbits was brought to you by the Nyaho Medical Center.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of Citi.
It's when I'm in the from the one I'm a bonny ding dear true. What do you say? I don't pay me.
What is that? That's my dream. Sorry, I'm about one dream. Go dance to one dream. When you mention I'm into Mintina, me wanna swim into Mingaza. Me do it, say I don't pay me.
Me better don't go. Until you hear me more, I'm in your via. Me baby, I say, me better don't go. But do you don't sing me
very say, me better don't go. Say, what I mean, me your via. Me very say, me better don't go. I need someone to call my own. Me and I make now I found someone to sit on my throne.
Oh, my friend, no him, no friend, me or him. I don't be your, me to be your.
Oh yeah, me mau be janga me yet yeah. Engozi sepo beda santi memorie.
Otumbaske
mene wale leu. Wenem nie seni ame no.
Wenem nie seni ame no.
Wenem nie seni ame no.
Me baby asisa me better don't go. Until you hear me more, me know via. Me baby asisa me better don't go.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
7:33 Tuesday the 2nd. Happy birthday to Linda Ajepoma Ej from Theophilus. May your day be blessed. Happy birthday to my wife May Esinu Goba of Ghana Tourism Authority. May the Almighty continue to shine his face towards you. From Timothy Kweku Goba and family. And to you, Amanda Amable, support staff of Republic Securities, may the Lord continue to bless you and your generations all the days of your life. From the Republic Securities team.
And Bernard Avle, thank you so much for everything. Let me now move on to deal with
a birthday
request. A very special person in our life, as you two in your life. Because in your previous life at the University of
she was my mate at the university.
Malloy Koba Aba Agbota. She's my in-law.
Your sister-in-law.
Powerful,
in whom you are well pleased.
Yes, in whom I'm very well pleased. And she's held the family together. My absence here, she's done a lot to hold the family together in my absence, together with my wife. So this morning, being her birthday, I'm celebrating Malloy Koba Aba Agbota. You are an indefatigable woman, a woman worthy of your name and value. And this morning, the kids and I, Naira, everybody, we're celebrating you.
Also, special wishes to Sicho and Franca. You got married on Saturday, 29th of April. The Akubos. My cousin Francisca, happy happy married life to you and your sweetheart. Sicho, you got married on Saturday the 29th at the Prayer Palace International Manette Junction Spintex. Have a fantastic celebration of life. And a happy birthday to Sami Ewu, board chairman of Joyful Way and CEO of Buena Vista Homes. Oh man, Sami Ewu. Yeah, the days of Joyful Way. You know, there are a number of organizations I'm not a member of, but I am always proud of. And Joyful Way is one of them. The other is the Heart Group. And yesterday, the 1st of May, was 20 years of the Heart Group's existence.
That's Dr. Yalpebi's group.
They started at the vestry of the Legon Interdenominational Church. There were 9 young people who started the Heart Group. Now it's in over 25 countries on all 5 continents. So something you start in the vestry of a church in Legon can become global in 20 years. So Dr. Yalpebi and the team that started the Heart Group, mighty congratulations to you. And to Joyful Way Incorporated for the many years. You know, I was talking to somebody about Joyful Way. A lot of the music evangelistic movements that started in the 70s eventually became churches. And Samensa has a lot of this history. So Scalvey Roads became Living Streams and Harvest and another church. And then there were all these fellowships. But Joyful Way Incorporated has remained Joyful Way Incorporated. They've not allowed any, and it's not as if to become a church is a bad thing in a sense, but it's just to be true to the ethos of the group, an evangelistic music group. They still do crusades, they still go out, play the guitar, they use my favorite instrument, the horns, you know. So Sami Ewu, and I'll tell you something, a lot of their presidents have been, Nana Redama was the president, Isam Kuma was the president, Sami Ewu was the president, you know, Adapo was the president, and they all raised the group's level.
That's right.
You know, so I want to congratulate Joyful Way for their consistency.
I think there's also something to learn about how they've been able to hold it together all these years.
Yes.
Because majority of the time they see these things emerge and they just...
Yeah, Joyful Way started in 1973.
You've had different iterations.
Yeah. How many companies have and I think, to be fair, we have to congratulate them. 1973 through 83, 93, 2003, 2013, 2023. That's
very
well.
And for me, the fact that you've even had different iterations, but the essence has
I'm telling you, when you listen to a Joyful Way song,
you know, once you hear it,
and you know, sometimes we think Ghanaian brands are only like products. Charlie, to have an organization that's 50 years, they've done things globally. They've done well.
It's solid.
50 years, because a lot of the banks we respect in the world, they started in the 18 something, you know. And for us, our company is just 2 decades old. So for something to grow for 50 years and still be strong, still be relevant, still be at the cutting edge of music, it tells you there's a culture there that has been created. The founding fathers did a very good job, and those who took over have also continued well. So may the things we start outlive us.
Amen.
That is the prayer for the morning.
The trees we plant, let them grow.
Yes, may they outgrow us.
Will come and sit
I'm telling you. So the other question to you this morning is, the thing you are doing, the way you are doing it, will it outlast you?
Yeah.
The work you are doing, if the people who did it before did it the way you are doing it, will it survive? The story you are writing in that online room, the way you are writing it, if the people who started the online, if that's how they wrote it,
that's the question I've been asking some of the brothers.
the story you are writing, and it's a question for all of us. Even the environment, talking about Galamsey, the way our forebears kept the environment. What are we leaving for our children?
Nothing.
You know, and you have to be responsible. Responsibility means that you are leaving for the next generation something, if not better, at least in the state that you found it. But in our case, we are leaving the environment much, much worse. And we're going to give our kids a lot of problems. Think about it. By the time your children are in their 40s, what is the state of the environment that they will have? You know, what kind of water would they be drinking? Would they be importing water? Would they have enough food to eat? These are the decisions we should take, devoid of partisan politics. We have to say that, look, there's something called intergenerational equity in the management of resources. Left to our politicians alone, they even want to chop the heritage money. There was a time that I heard one of the politicians say, Charlie, what's the use of that heritage fund? If we have problems, we should solve it now. Yes. I mean, how callous and irresponsible can leaders be? That you want to chop, you've destroyed the environment. There's more money that the oil money that, this oil.
Destroy the environment.
No, but this oil that you are doing, one of the reasons why we started that heritage thing was to say that the resource is for all of us. But because it's a non-renewable resource, it will finish. So let's keep something for those who the resource belongs to but won't come and meet it. So they'll say, 50 years after oil. Look, Norway today, they have one of the most broad-based pension funds. How did they get all those funds? It's from the oil resources. So Norway made surpluses from its oil, and some of the money they invest in Africa is from that oil money. All right. So there are countries whose leaders have shown responsibility by taking present resources, using them judiciously, investing same, making sure that 30, 40, 50, in fact, there are children born in Norway today who never saw the Norwegian oil, but they will benefit from funds invested from Norway's oil.
Heritage.
Okay, now go to Ghana and look at PIAC. We've mined gold for many years. Where is the legacy of gold for Ghanaian children?
Have chopped the money.
Have we, imagine if we invested even 1% or 5% of all the royalties we got.
Over years.
Since gold started, you think about it, it tells you that, you see, the thinking of the Ghanaian leader is not long term. Because if we are together as a group said, all the gold we are mining since the days of Anglo Gold, Obuasi Gold, Ashanti Gold, even 10% of the royalties will be invested in some international instrument. Do you think we'll be suffering free SHS today? Imagine, or all the oil since Kufuor. When is the first oil? 2011. So we've done oil for how many? 12 years.
12 years.
All right, and I think we've got, I don't know what about. Imagine if we had even taken 20% of that and said every year we're going to invest even 10% of our oil revenue. We won't touch it. We'll just leave it and let it grow.
Heritage fund.
You know, so the problem is the thinking is today. We're thinking about the elections. We're thinking about what to solve. And I'm not saying don't solve today's problems, but you know, if the level of thinking that brought today's problems is what you apply to today's resources, tomorrow's problems will be worse. Let me repeat that. If the level of thinking you apply to today's problems is the same as the thinking that brought those problems, the challenge will be more. Because, for example, our lack of planning led to overcrowding in secondary schools. The type of thinking you need now should be radical. It shouldn't just be managing the free SHS. It should also be, what can we do to prevent further exacerbation of the situation.
System.
All right, but all we are doing is let's solve it now. Let's patch it up and win votes. So you paper over the cracks, win an election, and then in 2026, you have secondary schools that cannot be controlled. You have gangs falling. Imagine when I was in Presec, SS3 were 400 boys. In fact, when I was SS1, were 413 or so. Form 2s were about 350, JB's group, and my brother's group were about 300. So the whole school is about 1,002. There's no way if they do roll call, they won't know where I am. So on Saturday morning, they can do a quick roll call and say, Saturday 10 o'clock, roll call, unplanned. House 3 boys, how many are we? Even if we have 250, they will find all of us. We'll queue in terms of our dorms and our year, Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. They'll do roll call. Where were you? Okay. Who is going to do roll call for 5,400 students? No, think about it. If they did roll call and the borders in Presec at the time maybe 70% of the 1,000, so maybe 800 borders. Who is going to do roll call for 3,000 students? How many teachers? And by the time you do the roll call, so I was saying that you can be in that school and the teacher will not see you for 4 years. I can be in secondary school today and the teacher doesn't know my name. I don't even know the pool in my house. Because if for science, there are 24 streams. And this is a problem we've created because we didn't plan from the past. And we sacrificed, we did quick politics to win elections to create this problem. Okay, so if you can have a secondary school situation in 2023 where a Form 1 boy in a cracker can decide that he won't even go to service. They don't know whether he's going to assembly or not because there are too many. The headmaster doesn't know him. In our day, the headmaster knew a lot of the boys. Say, hey, Bernard Avle, where have you been? Come to my office. Hey, your brother was serious. You're not serious. Hey, where is your result? You know, they don't know where you are. So you can be in a school. This guy, think about it. You can be in a school, 5,400 students. I can be in a boarding house. My housemaster doesn't know me. My class teacher doesn't know who I am. Even my mates, they don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And I'll say I'm a student of the school. I have a certificate. You are mass producing graduates. There's no culture. There's no percolation of knowledge. I just came to learn to get a certificate. I might as well stay at home and watch a computer screen. All right. And I'm saying if we don't start planning for tomorrow today, the secondary school that your children will oversee will be worse. And you see, once you lose teacher control over teenagers, you are going into high level delinquency. And the other problem is that you see, we can mention 5,400 students because it's measurable. The consequence of having a student in a secondary school without proper
supervision,
good in TTA, they didn't raise them well.
Yeah. They were not nurtured.
The consequence is incalculable. So you can say 5,400 students. So 80% got A1s. A1s is not even an issue. Education has nothing to do with ones. Education has anything to do with even their morals. All right. Now they are training graduates who can pass exams, but they are thieves, and they are stealing. They are doing what do you call it? They are doing pass. They are leaking exams to pass. Now you cannot quantify that problem and solve it with a committee. What I'm saying is that the problems lack of planning creates are more deep-seated and dangerous than any other problem. So you have 5,400 Presec boys. Many of them have not been properly cultured. They all pass. They get 6,171s. They go to medical school. He's a doctor. He doesn't have a consistent habit of anything. What kind of doctor are you going to create? So you are going to create a problem for your society where people are callous. So we are destroying the society. That's what I'm saying. A policy that may just look at an election thing, a population explosion that has not been met by proper planning for teachers. I mean, how do you have 5,400 students and your teachers are not up to 200? How are they going to manage the students? If a student goes to smoke weed in the bush, where will he be? Where will you find him? If they go at night to go to a club, there are 5,400 in a school that accommodated 1,000 when I was there. You think so? We have created, and I'm not using this to bash free SHS. I'm saying that as we sit here, there are many things our minds are engaged with. It's not bad. If you don't start thinking about what to do to solve those problems in a sustainable way, you are going to have problems that you cannot solve. Yep. Right? So I really want to say that let's get our leaders to think. Let's stop jumping on the political bandwagon, endorsing political tomfoolery. promising us things that we know are not realistic, but because of vote, we accept it. Oh, I'll do this. No, you are thinking about, okay, so what's the plan for the next? So our children who are in JSS 2 to class 5, do you know that there are more than those who are in SSS now?
Yeah.
Have you seen the latest population housing census? The census is broad at the base and narrow at the top. It means that people between age 0 and 15 are more than those between 15 and 30. So if free SHS is causing a problem today, imagine what it will cause tomorrow. So what are we doing to respond to that? Is it just building schools? Is it saying that let's have day schools? Do you get me? It's almost like we are still arguing from a very parochial perspective when we have massive problems. And I'm saying if we don't stop and think about what to do to those who 9 to 14-year-olds from class 5 all the way to GSS 2, they will have a worse future. I have a friend who teaches in a public basic school. Class 3, there are 80 students. Do you know what 80 students is? 80.
Supervise all of them.
Class 3.
80 students. And this is one stream. This is like 3A.
So imagine 3.
Meanwhile, in a private school that our kids go, you can have 25 students in a class and there are 3 teachers. In the school my child goes to, class 2, there are 20 students. They have 2 teachers. It's a private school. Right? 2 teachers sitting in a class for 20 students. Then you go to a public school. I don't want to mention any other school. There are 80 students in class 3. 1 teacher, a woman.
Yeah.
How is he going to manage that? How is he going to explain long division to 80 students? So this question is about failing to plan. We know we are the population bulge. How do we train teachers? What is the infrastructure? We are not doing it. Okay, and I can extend that to this. Guys, let's use the medium to force people to think, to do the right things. Let's stop entertaining political promises that don't make sense. Let's stop engaging people just on the peripheral NDC MPP who is wiser, who is worse. Let's involve civil society and thinking into the policies. I want to hear somebody who has a plan to manage 9 to 14-year-olds in the next 10 years for their secondary education. I want a plan. Beyond criticizing free SHS, where is the plan to make sure that by the time those guys in class 4, 5, 6, GSS 1 get to SSS, they are not with an overcrowded school? Where is the plan? I want to hear that. That's what you should think about. When they come to you, stop following them foolishly. Stop endorsing them because they are from your hometown or from your church. They will destroy the country. If you don't start forcing them to think, they will do the least. There's something called LCM, least common multiple. Politicians do the least allowable thing. They will get away with it. If you insist, they will raise the bar. If you don't, they will do the least to get a vote. Ask Richard Sky. If you don't push politicians to think beyond today, they will sell everything and chop the money and take the key away. I'm telling you. They will sell everything and they will tax you to death. If you don't force them, they will go and take more loans. They don't care. Go to Parliament tomorrow. They are going to pass more loans. They will pass the loan. And they will sell everything. They will sell it to the highest foreign bidder. Every aspect of our economy has been taken over by foreigners. And the politicians don't care because once they will get voted and come to power and do their contract, they are not thinking about you. And you are sitting there suffering, endorsing it. So let's get serious that the future of our country is at risk. And in the political season is the time to intervene. Where people are going to campaign that they want to get into primaries, go there and prevent.
A joker.
I want the city where. What's the word? Yes. Later, I'll do a few quick announcements for us. Our actual main concern for this morning hasn't even been broached. This was just a small tirade that came by inspiration. But we'll be happy to hear from you on this. The big question I have is this morning is actually a debate between Sky and Godfred, right? I want to do a small debate between the two of them. Because there's a story I read, and when I listen to the two of you, I hear 2 different angles. So the first story was about the guy whose work in psychology and computer science brought artificial intelligence. And the guy is resigning from Google with a fear that very soon artificial intelligence will overtake human intelligence. Then there's a report by Goldman Sachs that says that artificial intelligence could replace 300 million full-time jobs. Richard Sky says this threat is real. Both of them agree, but Richard seems to think that this AI thing has actually already overtaken. Crawford still thinks that there are areas of improvement. So he still feels that the human being is at the center. The human being will not be replaced that easily. Sky thinks that no, the human being can be replaced very, very easily. So I'm going to hear both of them on this issue after 8 o'clock. So please put your thoughts together. It's a debate. I'll give each of you 5 minutes to argue for this. and then I will let me and Nathan will vote on who makes more sense. So AI could replace human work in the next few years. According to a report, up to 300 million full-time jobs could be wiped out by AI. Sky says it's even more serious. Godfrey says, no, take your time. It's not that wild. It's true, but it's not that wild. Let's take our time. Let's not get too excited. We'll discuss that when we come back from 8. Nathan has a few announcements. Then 8 o'clock will bring you tech and social media trends.
Yeah. Imperial General Assurance is telling you to come and insure your vehicle with them, and you can win great goodies. They've got fuel coupons, gift vouchers, special souvenirs, and all of that. You also get a free 1-year life insurance cover as part of your motor insurance cover, so you get it double from Imperial General. Call them on 0302 788 955 or 0577 667 436. Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. Now, everybody's looking for that one thing that pushes them to bring out their best and enables them to reach peak performance. Your car wants the same thing too. That's why you need to be feeding it a lot of Shell Helix engine oil. Now, whether you are cruising on the open road or battling with busy traffic, Shell Helix will keep your engine running smoothly. Choose Shell Helix Lubricants Munko Swahini for the ultimate power, performance, and protection. Visit your local Shell station today and experience the difference for yourself. Now, beyond Easter, there are things to do, payments to make, and all of that. So you need to be friends with Republic Bank. They say they will continue to help you make your payments smoothly with their fantastic 4 credit cards. Now, you enjoy great discounts from partner merchants. You get cashback rewards, global concierge services, access to over 1 million ATMs worldwide, while you stand a chance to win a 2-day staycation at Aqua Safari and other amazing prizes in the Tap for Easter and Beyond credit card promo. Just tap to pay. Live the soft life. We got you. Republic Bank, we are the one for you.
All right, so a lot of things coming through. Nathan, if you can read a few quick comments for us, and then we will jump into tech and social media trends, and then we'll do a quick debate this morning. By the way, this May, the Mother's Day is twofold. The promotion is called A Portrait of Mama. In 100 words or less, celebrate Mama for making the most important intervention that changed the course of your life. Your entry should begin with the phrase, "But for Mama." Submit your name, your mama's name, and your contact information. Send via WhatsApp 054 998 6996 or 020 444 7033. Send in that captivating story about Mama and win a spot for her at the Portrait of Mama dinner event scheduled for the 14th of May. Deadline for submission is now 5th May. Portrait of Mama is powered by Citi FM. Nathan.
All right, a few messages. This one says, Bernard, I agree with you. Because of the high numbers now in our secondary school, supervision is very low. I hope you haven't forgot about the students who attacked the Navy officer who was a part-time boat driver. This is as a result of what's happening in our senior high schools. Nay from Tema sent that. Jones Adoboyinla says, you couldn't have put it any better. You really spoke my mind. This one says, thank you, Bernard, for your submission on these politicians. It's actually long overdue, but I will challenge you to start from your platform when critical issues arise. We avoid engaging politicians because it is through these engagements that they create problems. I see Parkofi from Lakeside sends that. Okay, and I think we got a message from somebody who says his wife teaches 98 pupils in class 3 in a school in Adenta.
See, I'm not lying. Sky, think about it. 98 pupils.
Too shy of 100.
Shouldn't there even be a national standard to say that if a class goes above 50,
that's it.
They should split it. Angel Cabano, please, we want to hear from you.
Why should there must be? I think
why should a teacher? What did you mention? A school?
No, but it says it's in Adenta.
How can a public school have 98 students for one teacher? It's not fair, Angel.
I'm actually sure that maybe there's a standard, a regulation.
Yeah, maybe somebody should call Angel for me. How do you have 98 students in a class? How do you manage it?
98.
Me, I used to teach in a primary school. The school, there were not even 12 students in my class after SSS. I mean, how can you have
98 students in a class?
How do you even imagine when you're talking on the phone, somebody's at the back choking somebody with a blade or choking somebody with a broom? They say he has hit my eye. I say, well, I wasn't there. Charlie, Sky, I think I'm 98 students. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And their parents, a lot of these people, their parents are not even necessarily well to do. So they are probably working longer hours. Yeah. So you have a child who is in class 4. He's sitting in the class at the back. When they are teaching, he's looking for attorney. You know attorney? Do you know attorney?
Yes, I know attorney. Attorney is like a beetle.
We will go and be looking for attorney. We are not even in the class. We are looking for attorney.
You tie a rope.
Yes. You go and catch. It's like a beetle.
It makes this buzzing sound.
And you catch attorney and tie a rope on his neck. And then you hold it.
No, that's what we will call it.
Attorney.
Yeah. We put a broomstick behind it.
Sky.
And then we will be doing.
If you have 90 students in a class and 2 of them are doing attorney, how will you even know that they are not in the class?
No, it'll be like these days. We know they again.
It will shock you.
Because they
go to a typical village school. They are still doing attorney.
They are still doing
attorney.
All right.
No, I have a witness.
Oh yeah.
Read more. So 98 in one class.
All right. A few more. This one, I think it's on the AI thing. I don't know whether.
Let's hear.
This one says humans achieved flight, artificially done that. Aircrafts are more efficient than the fastest birds. Imagine humans creating into machines the ability to think. It will mean these autonomous thinking machines will outdo their natural competition.
But can they do anything without human beings? Because even drones are controlled. You see, the way I see this is, even a fighter jet, even if it's not manned, there's still something controlling it. Yes. And that's the intelligence.
All right. Anyway, this one says, because of the lack of planning, even the school the basic school I attended has become a death trap. Atomic Hills used to be the pride of Ashoman Estate. Now look, and of course, they also need to benefit from free SHS. I mean, that's a lot of students going to manage these little resources, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Dan from Ho says, how I wish 20% of Ghanaians would think like you, Bernard. Ghana is the only country where we develop before planning. I teach in one of the SHSs with a class of, so it's several classes, 94, 87, 85, and 78.
This is SHS.
Yeah. Can you imagine these students sit on benches? It says our problem is leadership.
Guy, when you were in SS, how many in your class?
SS, I did video lab, so we're most likely 25.
Look at that. Which means that the teacher can actually move from desk to desk and work
my
with
class
you.
About
40. And you see, your 40 is arts.
Yes.
So visual 25 is.
So one arts class, the second arts class. About 14 one, 14 the other, 14. So you're about
SSS with 94 students in a class. That's like how? Let's take and show me that trend. And it's brought to us by FBN Bank. And what if I told you that first things first, and that there are things etched in stone that never change? The fact that 1 comes before 2, or the letter A comes before B. And that our goal at FBN Bank is to put you, our cherished customer, first. Our products and services have been designed just for you, and you deserve the finer things in life. So when you think of a bank that cares and puts customers first, think of the bank that puts the B before the N. Think FBN you first. And check and show me that trends next. It's also brought to us by Vodafone. Exciting news. Vodafone Cash now allows payments to all merchant numbers on other networks. It's no longer frustrating because now you can relax and make payments to merchants on all networks. Dial *110#. Select option 1 to send money, option 2 to other networks, and fill the prompts to send money. Experience the ease of transacting on Vodafone Cash. Dial *110# at any time to send money to all merchant numbers. Use Vodafone Cash today.
All right, let's get into the trends. And Stonebwoy is in the trend. Several people talking about his Fifth Dimension album. Sky and I were even doing a quick chit chat yesterday about. So several people talking about some of the songs: Mano G, Life and Money, Activate, Therapy, Forget. Several people talking about the songs they like on the album. And then now one of the people that Stonebwoy featured on the album is Stormzy. He's also in the trends. The Met Gala was held last night, and Stormzy is trending. He was in his Burberry his jacket and all. People talking about that as well. There are a few sporting trends, Embiid, Tatum, and all. For the basketball lovers, Jaylen Brown and all. Sarko there is equally in the trends. He had the concert. He's traveling around the country doing some shows, so he's in the conversations as well. To some tech news, and I've mentioned the AI thing, but you've mentioned that already, and we'll come back to it. But British microchip designing giant ARM has filed to sell its shares in the US, setting the stage for what could be the biggest stock market listing this year. Now, the Cambridge-based firm is reportedly aiming to raise up to $10 billion. It's about £8 billion. In a blow to the UK, the company said in March that it did not plan to list its shares in London. ARM was bought in 2016 by Japanese conglomerate SoftBank in a deal worth £23.4 billion. And at the time, ARM was listed in London and New York. Now, the firm designs the tech behind processors commonly known as chips that power devices from smartphones to game consoles.
One day, an old lady inherited a huge sum of money. Her family worried about how to break the good news to her. They feared that the sudden good news might give her a heart attack. And so they decided the family doctor who was experienced in delivering such news should be the one to tell her. And when he did, surprisingly, she just smiled. Relieved, he asked, "What are you going to do with all that money?" She replied, "I'm going to give you half." The doctor had a heart attack. People are often surprised when we put them first. At FBN Bank, that's what we do. We put you first. Open an account with us today and enjoy mobile banking, USSD banking, shop and pay with our prepaid Visa cards, MasterCard, and many other services designed with you in mind. FBN Bank, you first.
Ever visited a shop, picked a whole basket of provisions, toiletries, and very essential things you need, battled a long queue to finally pay, only to be told you can't pay to a merchant number? The way that thing they pay, but with Vodafone Cash, there is no problem. Now on Vodafone Cash, you can pay all merchants on all networks. Easy peasy. Straight. Direct. Sharp. From your Vodafone Cash wallet to any merchant number on other networks. So whether you are buying provisions or fuel, medication or food, whatever the service or need, just pay conveniently from Vodafone Cash to any merchant's number. Simply dial *110# to make payment to merchants on other networks today.
Vodafone. Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Yes, Charlie, Chance Pie, the promotion is here again. It's Samsung Eid Mubarak promo. This Eid Mubarak, Samsung is offering you good prices. It is time to gather your friends, interact, and get an original Samsung television starting at 2,999 Ghana cedis. Don't worry, Samsung television ranges from 32 inches, 40 inches, 43 inches, 50 inches, 55 inches, 65, 75, 85, 98 inches. Charlie, remember, quality lasts. Get yourself a Samsung booming soundbar at 2,899 Ghana cedis. Projectors, sound tower, soundbars, refrigerators, cooling plus, split ACs, washing machines, and many more. Visit any Samsung showroom near you. Samsung Eid Mubarak promotion. For more info, call 0242 439 437.
Anytime is a good time to have a break. Introducing Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's perfect for break times, party times, movie times, and snack times. Savor the moment. Enjoy Munchie Anytime Crackers anytime. Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's light and tasty.
This advert is FDA approved.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winning. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker that offers you a huge range of bonuses, great odds, and many chances to win. Register now on 1xBet.com.gh and use promo code PLAY1 to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. 1xBet gives you more.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Something small for the boys.
Today, I know make I give you the latest fella. Coca-Cola changed my price. Oh, but the price for the 300 ml Coca-Cola classic plastic bottle is now 5 Ghana cedis. The 300 Coke Zero, Fanta, and Sprite plastic bottles are also going for just 4 Ghana cedis. That can be all. The 1.5 Coke classic plastic bottle is 20 Ghana cedis. The same size 1.5 Coke Zero, Fanta, and Sprite plastic bottles sell at 18 Ghana cedis. Keep enjoying your favorite Coca-Cola at the best prices with friends and family. This advert is FDA approved.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
You see, the fact is that it is not only NPP, and Nana Akufo-Addo alone who is coming out with that free education program. You see, every government needs to bring something to help the children, because as we are speaking now, you know the economic stability is growing and people are complaining about inflation. People are complaining about money. There's no money in the pocket of the people. People are working but they are not getting money. And so families are crying. And if families are crying, how can they cater for their children? And this is very important. In my case, I will make sure that, you see, there will be free education in the system. And then those who want to, you know, those
Hey. Be the you. Z-Real. My name's Yeah. Z. Maybe same. Shemin and Jali me your paymu. I run there if only they knew. It's futile trying to stop me. Ube bregu. Maybe same. Shemin and Jali me your paymu. I run here if only they knew. You trying to stop me, then Uber break. That's enough. I'm running in this field of dreams if I start to finish. Cause I'm in it to win it, though it might take a minute. I'm blind it seems cause I see no limits. If I listen to critics, then I might just quit it. But they be that. When it's judgment day, I think.
Alright, so 10 minutes past 8. What do I want to do next? I want to set the coordinates of a short debate. And I feel like Godfred and Sky will do it. Now, the reason this is worrying is so 2 things. The godfather of AI has left Google and warns of danger. Now, one of the reasons he left Google is because he says that the way AI is being deployed, particularly generative AI, it can lead to a technology war that cannot be controlled. Let me just read the New York Times article, portions of it. Now, he says, in 2018, Dr. Hinton and 2 other long-time collaborators received the Turing Award, often called the Nobel Prize of Computing, for their work on neural networks, which paved the way for what we now see as a generative AI. And a quick background, in 2024, this Dr. Hinton and 2 of his students in Toronto built a neural network that could analyze thousands of photos and teach itself to identify common objects such as flowers, dogs, and cats. Now, Google spent $44 million to acquire the company, which he and his 2 students started. And their system led to the creation of increasingly powerful technologies, including new chatbots like ChatGPT and Google. So he and his 2 students built this thing. They had a company that had it. Google bought it for $44 million. And this is what has led to what we see as OpenAI. Then in 2018, he received the Turing Award, which is like the Nobel Prize in computing. Now, around the same time, Google, OpenAI, and other companies began building neural networks that learned from huge amounts of digital text. At the time, Dr. Hinton thought it was a powerful way for machines to understand and generate language, but it was way inferior to the way humans handled language at the time. Then last year, as Google and OpenAI built systems using much larger amounts of data, his view changed. He still believed that the systems were inferior to human brains in some ways, but he thought they were eclipsing human intelligence in others. Maybe what is going on in these systems, he says, is actually a lot better than what is going on in the human brain. Now, here's the catch. As companies improve their AI systems, he believes, they become increasingly dangerous. Look at how it was 5 years ago and how it is now, he said of AI technology. Take the difference and propagate it forward. It's scary. Until last year, he said, Google acted as a proper steward for the technology, careful not to release something that might cause harm. But now that Microsoft has augmented its Bing search engine with a chatbot, challenging Google's core business, Google is now racing to deploy the same kind of technology to compete with Microsoft. The tech giants are locked in a competition that might be impossible to stop. His immediate concern is that the internet will soon be flooded with false photos, videos, and text, and the average person will not be able to know what is true anymore. So if you ask even ChatGPT some questions, sometimes it generates answers which are completely false, but people cannot even know. In one of the ChatGPT answers, they said, I was born in 1978 and I was born in October 19th. I don't know how they got that. He is also worried that AI technologies will in time upend the job market. Today, chatbots like ChatGPT tend to complement human workers, but they could replace paralegals, personal assistants, translators, and others who handle rote tasks. It takes away the drudge work. It might take away more than that. Right? So it takes away repetitive work, but it might soon take away more than that. Because there's a repetitive component of everything we do. Even this job, there's a repetitive part. Yes. Down the road, he's worried that future versions of technology pose a threat to humanity because they often learn unexpected behavior from the vast amounts of data they analyze. This becomes an issue, he said, as individuals and companies allow AI systems not only to generate their own computer code, but actually run that code on their own. And he fears a day when truly autonomous weapons, those killer robots, become a reality. All right. Dr. Hinton also believes that the race between Google and Microsoft and others will escalate into a global race that will not stop without some form of global regulation. He says, unlike nuclear weapons, which people know are being formed, there is no way of knowing whether companies or countries are working on technology in secret. The best hope is for the world's leading scientists to collaborate on ways of controlling the technology. Now, I need to also say that in the early part of the article, they said something. It says, when OpenAI released a new version of ChatGPT in March, the one we are talking about, more than 1,000 technology leaders, 1,000 technology leaders and researchers signed an open letter calling for a 6-month moratorium on the development of a new system because they said AI technologies pose profound risks to society and humanity. Let me repeat. In March this year, when OpenAI, the company that does ChatGPT, started a new version of the system, more than 1,000 technology leaders and researchers signed an open letter calling for a 6-month moratorium on the development of a new system because AI technologies pose profound risks to humanity and society. All right. Several days later, 19 current and former leaders of the Association of Advancement of Artificial Intelligence released their own letter warning of the risks of AI. Okay, so now let me then add this last one before you go. This report is 28th March, BBC. AI could replace equivalent of 300 million jobs. This is a report. I'm reading it as I see it. Artificial intelligence could replace the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs. A report by investment bank Goldman Sachs says it could replace a quarter of work tasks in US and Europe, but may also mean new jobs and a productivity boom. And it could eventually increase the total annual value of goods and services produced by 7% globally. Generative AI, able to create content indistinguishable from human work, is a major advancement. The government is keen to promote investment in AI in the UK. This is British story now, which it says will ultimately drive productivity across the economy. Are you listening? And has tried to reassure the public about its impact. We want to make sure that AI is complementing the way we work in the UK, not disrupting it, making our jobs better rather than taking them away. Technology Secretary Michelle Donnellan told The Sun. The report notes AI's impact will vary across different sectors. 46% of tasks in administrative and 44% in legal professions could be automated, but only 6% in construction and 4% in maintenance. Let's go through this again. 46% of tasks in administrative, 44% in legal, but 6% in construction, 4% in maintenance. BBC News has previously reported some scientists' concerns that AI image generators could harm their employment prospects. Right? Then they go and talk about how this could also lead to lower wages. It says, what ChatGPT does, for example, is to allow more people with average writing skills to produce essays and articles. Journalists will therefore face more competition, which will drive down wages unless we see a significant increase in the demand for such work. Consider the introduction of GPS technology and the platforms like Uber. Suddenly, knowing all the streets in London has much less value, and so incumbent drivers experience large weight cuts in response of around 10% according to our research, right? So what Uber is doing to normal taxis, what's they call it, Airbnb is doing to agents, and you can keep the list going on and on and on. So I don't want to sort of scare people, right? But the question we are asking is, are Ghanaian workers thinking about these things at all? Sky, you are saying the risks of AI replacing work are more serious than we even think.
Exactly.
Can you develop that in 5 minutes?
Okay, so Bernard, let me just cite quick examples of what exactly AI is doing. Basically, artificial intelligence, as we all know it, is basically the use of the machine, which basically now is the computer, to do things that human beings would have taken forever to do in many cases. So they use algorithms to actually determine what is done and what is not done. They use protocols. So therefore, if you have a journalist who is reading news, you can have artificial intelligence do that without making any mistakes. Properly programmed, he can read the words, he can learn how names are produced or mentioned or pronounced, and state them accurately. It will keep to time. So Bernard, for instance, you come on air, you do 3 hours on air, right? Artificial intelligence properly programmed would ensure that you do not do more than 3 hours, not even a minute more. It would ensure that the adverts that have to be played after every 5 minutes will be played. It would ensure that you return value for the person who is advertising on this particular platform, because it would not allow Richard Sky to go on and on, or Bernard Avle to go on and on, or maybe Nathan to go on and on. It would ensure that you keep to the time. So that is one thing that AI is able to give you that humans would not give you. For instance, if you go to the legal profession, one of the things that undermines the legal profession currently is the issue of lack of consistency. And I refer to judicial or lack of loyally consistency. What do I mean by that? Judicial certainty helps people to know beforehand what is likely to be the position of the law if you take a matter to the courtroom. So, for instance, somebody takes your money under certain circumstances. You want to believe that the law previously is that if somebody takes your money without good reason, the law will say that, look, you acted wrongly. But there are times that you have judges provide certain reasons for a decision that would have been inconsistent with an established authority previously taken. What you have presently, if you have AI properly modeled and properly taught, and it's been used elsewhere, they are able to give you decisions based on the facts and the law as we know it, so that there will not be any issues about biases of the judge, what he may know about the particular client.
So you're saying AI replaces our judges?
It is a discussion that is being had. Yes.
It would review all the Ghana law reports.
Exactly.
And then coordinate and say, at the end of the day, this guy is right.
Look at
bribe him.
Exactly. Look at the statutes, what the statute says, look at what practices are elsewhere, and then come to a decision that will be consistent over the years. There will not be any departure unless it is programmed differently. So that level of consistency is also great. Also speed. Bernard, day in, day out, we are having to deal with so much data. Data that you don't have the time to sit down and read. But with the help of AI properly programmed and properly instructed, it can analyze and return decisions on millions and possibly billions of data within a 24-hour cycle. Something that if you put 1 million people together, they will not be able to do. And they do that with accuracy. You wouldn't see that, addition will become a division. Once the system has been properly programmed, it will return to you a decision that is consistent with what the result will be. So if you will take 1 billion people to achieve that in, say, 3 years, AI can do that for you within 24 hours. And that is how some companies on Wall Street are making so much money. They're making so much money because they can even analyze what the market trends are and are able to tell you that instead of putting your money behind Citi FM, put your money behind citinewsroom.com, because that will return better value for the customer.
So are you saying that this 300 million jobs risk is real?
It is real.
You actually, what about in our Ghanaian context?
In our Ghanaian
companies, a lot of them don't use much technology.
You see, it is just a matter of time. Because Bernard, let me take you to a story that CNN has done on some 300 bots that are operating in the UK. Right?
300 bots.
Yes, bots. These are robots. Technically,
Bots.
that's right, robots. So what they do, the company is known as Ocado, and they are into the supply of groceries. What they do is when they receive the order, initially, human beings were doing all the work. If you need tomatoes, they will pick tomatoes and put it. You need onion, they will pick it. You need pepper, they will pick it and put all of them together. But what they have been able to do is to design an algorithm, an AI, response to the problem, which is able to treat the orders that are made by human beings. And then you have 3,000 of these bots in a park that is about 3 football fields to do this job in a much more efficient way.
So who are they replacing?
They are replacing human beings.
And what work are the human beings doing?
So the human beings were previously the people who were collecting the orders and then identifying that, okay, Bernard needs 10 pieces of tomatoes, 10 pieces of yam, 10 pieces of, agricha.
So the machines will not make the mistakes that human beings
No. So there wouldn't be, a value less return for the consumer or a value more added to the consumer. So it is precise, it is efficient, it does that within the speed that is being given to act within.
And this is a real company?
This is a real company. It is Ocado.
So they have 300 robots?
3,000.
So how many people did they replace?
So they replaced several hundreds of workers. If you go into the story, you can get details of that particular match.
And how soon do you think that type of thing can happen here?
I'll deal with that quickly. Mayhew estimates most good retailers achieve 97% to 98% order accuracy. That's the level of accuracy. Now, what I'm predicting is, you have presently ShopRite is in the system. You have Farmers Market coming into the system. We have not yet gotten to a stage where we are using these supermarkets full time. Imagine where we develop to a point where we are able to mobilize enough around these supermarkets so that people go into these supermarkets as opposed to going to Makola to buy tomatoes. The sanitary conditions that you see in Makola, you will not find that in a properly regulated market where AI, for instance, is helping to deliver services and goods to people. So what I'm arguing is that, yes, we may not have reached the point where in Ghana we are able to deploy that efficiently. But see what the guys who are doing drone delivery of medicines are doing. They are able to move blood samples. They are able to move medicine. They are able to move, drugs. They are able to move, tissue, human tissue
but
parts.
You notice that a lot of the jobs you are referring to are administrative jobs.
No, it's not.
Also repetitive jobs. Indeed, the story I read said that they are replacing administrative 46%. And then law 44%. But when it comes to construction and more like raw type of work,
Bernard,
the replacement is much lower.
Bernard, Toyota in Japan, they are using AI robots to build their cars, and many of the manufacturing companies you have, they are using AI to build their cars. That's what's happening. If you go into the world of financial trading, people are using AI for purposes of identifying where exactly the gaps are and where we are likely to get good returns. If you go to agriculture, you use AI to conduct spraying that human beings would have taken, one whole month to do. So, for instance, in the cocoa industry, where we have massive problems with people stealing the
AI spraying.
You deploy AI, they will be able to tell you precisely how much time you need to spray the whole of the western region, the cocoa farms there. And they will do it efficiently. People will not be stealing the, what's the name?
The chemicals.
The chemicals. And then also, we also use AI to provide fertilizer.
In Ghana?
I'm saying that.
Happen?
I'm saying that is where we should.
So your point
because
is that
it's happening
AI
already.
Can remove a lot of the inefficiencies even in the agri value chain.
Exactly.
It's being used in industry. So even though the report talks about repetitive jobs in administration and law, the use applications of AI is even within manufacturing, factory issues, delivery, logistics, and then agriculture.
Yes, even feeding chicken. You can use AI properly programmed.
You believe this AI thing, pal?
Bernard, no, it is because it is happening. They know when. So it is 6 a.m. They have to be fed. 6 a.m. buying on the dot. Feed will be provided for the chicken. 12 p.m. If it is that time that they will be given. There's water that has to be given to them at that time. They are even able to read the weather and tell you that instead of giving them water at this time, provide something else.
All right.
That is what AI is doing.
Two questions from what you said before I bring Godfred in. So, do you guys think that it will be good for a well-programmed AI to replace our judges? As a controversial example, from what Sky is saying. And what about for us on the show? Which aspect of what we do you think a computer can do?
Okay.
No, I'm asking the public, not you. So I'm maybe asking you. You just laughed. I'm not sure that can be replaced, but
it can.
It cannot.
All the AI needs to do is to sample my laughter.
But it won't know the time to laugh.
And it will do it better.
But humor is not a straight line. Humor, the relationship that causes laughter is not an equation. The thing you and I know in our past that makes us laugh over things, AI will not know.
Yes, those nuances.
Because of some of the places because of the place I've seen you and the things I do. Because so you see the things I know about you, that's when I say something you are laughing. AI doesn't know those things. You understand? There are things you know I know.
That's true.
AI cannot.
That's true.
But I'm asking a question. Okay, let me make the question more exciting. Which areas in our work life do listeners think AI can replace and should replace? You gave an example of judges, where well-programmed AI, because law has a lot of facts that have to put together. I listened to the new the CJ nominee. She was talking about the law reports and the importance of having them. Indeed, I listened to. Funny thing, I also had another former CJ I listened to over the weekend as well, and they're all talking about the law reports, their place in our law. Okay, so if you wanted to program a Supreme Court hearing, how many documents do you need to bring in for AI to replace the person? Because again, you're talking about various laws, the Constitution, then all our black letter statutes, the laws that are passed by acts of parliament. Then you talk about specific laws passed by different organizations, and then you bring other countries' laws. All right. Now, how many judges will avert themselves to all those laws at the same time?
That's what leads
versus
to
a machine can have all the laws in the common law jurisdictions, all the cases, all the examples, and then somehow, if there's a matter of which is guy stealing Bernard Avle's bottle, they will apply all the possible things that come up with an accurate decision.
Exactly. That is what I was talking about, judicial consistency. So inconsistency leads to a situation where a particular case, you know that this matter ought to have been resolved this way, but the judge would put in something and say that, no, based on his interpretation of A, B, C, D, he has come to an entirely different conclusion. And then what you have is judicial inconsistency. For instance, right now we have Honorable Dapamapo is in court, right?
Yes.
This EC matter had been resolved previously, but there are certain gaps that he's seen.
So he's going back.
He's going back to the Supreme
Court. But
Court.
I don't think AI could have created those gaps.
No, AI would.
There is AI thing. Oh, believe it. Oh, believe it. AI near power.
Bernard, you see, the reason I'm saying this is, for instance, in Hong Kong, they decided to venture into an area nobody has been to before. They appointed AI onto their board. The company's name is Vital. I studied this when I was
doing your course.
Yeah. So they appointed Vital onto their board. And what Vital was doing was basically the human people would take their decision based on data that they received and all of that.
Yeah.
Then Vital would take its AI program. It would take the data that has been received and analyze it. And they come to a conclusion whether or not the humans should invest in that particular company. And all the times that it advised that don't invest, they have problems. All the times that he said invest, and they don't invest, they have problems. All the times that he says invest and they invested, they had better returns.
Okay. So I'll summarize what you've said so far by saying that because of the analytical powers of artificial intelligence, particularly in its use in generative AI, the gaps that human intelligence produces can be filled by well-programmed AI.
Yeah.
So nobody doubts that analytical power of computer can be higher than human brain power at a particular time. All right. But let me come to Godfred on this. He appreciates AI. He's actually done a use case of AI in his media work, but doesn't seem as apocalyptic as you are.
I just want to read the conclusion of a paper that I
Hey,
read, which would differ.
I will cede. I will cede.
Let's listen to that.
I will cede. Now I need 2 minutes
to finish him. Yes, 2 minutes.
This is basically to admit that, you see, there's something that AI is seeking to achieve, or those leading it are seeking to achieve, which is singularity. Singularity is where it is able to function independently without human intervention. In other words,
this is what they are aiming for.
Yeah, that's right. So that AI would be able to look at things and make decisions based on.
So what would the human beings use be?
So the human being in that context is discarded.
We are going back to Greece. We are just going to have fun. Go to the beach.
See, that is
enjoy life.
So people are thinking of AI becoming president, making presidential decisions.
So the human beings don't work again.
Exactly. So
we'll just be relaxing.
So that is the danger that people are talking about. So the moment
I think the danger is about what AI getting into evil people's hands can do. The number of misinformation that AI can generate, the kinds of stories it can write about you which are not even true. That's what I'm thinking, that if AI gets into the hand of a terrorist or some rebel leaders, the kind of things they can use it to do.
You see, those become issues of regulation. And that is where those of us who believe in the law say that, look, when you have properly regulated AI technology, then you can deal with some of these concerns.
So you are saying that, so are you, if you do a net of positive and negative, is AI impact on society positive or negative as a net?
I think it will be positive. Because, yeah, that's right, it will be positive.
When you put everything together.
Everything, you see, corruption will no longer be there because you cannot go and bribe AI. Yeah, that's right. Corruption will be eliminated.
So you think that the net effect of AI will be positive?
Imagine that
AI... You admit there will be some negatives.
Yeah, there will be.
I'm trying to get to conclusion here. So there are two things. You are saying that AI is upon us in a much more aggressive way than we think. It's happening faster than we want to admit.
Speed of it.
Number two, you are also saying that it is going to radically change the way we live.
Exactly.
And that will happen quickly.
Quickly, yeah.
But you are saying that the net effect of AI is positive.
It's positive.
Fine.
And then this conclusion I want to read. Oh, I beg you. Let me just read it. Give me a conclusion. So in this is a paper on what I think AI can do in the corporate boardroom. And then I made a number of arguments and I come to a certain conclusion, which would differ to a large extent to what Godfred is likely to say about, hey, don't allow AI that matter. Yeah, that's right. I'm just making that concession. So I said that Moscow predicts that the boardroom revolution trailblazed by the appointment of Vital, an algorithm that some writers have argued is not exactly artificial intelligence in the strict sense of the word, could cause radical changes in how corporate institutions are operated. Consistent with this view, there have been much more drastic predictions that Vital's success story is an indication that in the next decade, the world will welcome companies that are completely autonomous. In other words, they are not run by human beings. Now, these will be companies that will function fully without the involvement of any human being. While the corporate world awaits the manifestation or otherwise of these ambitious predictions, it is submitted that companies should see the Vital success story as evidence of how much a purposefully deployed AI can turn their fortunes around. Put differently, companies should adopt, fine-tune, and scale up the Vital boardroom solution to help fine-tune their decision-making in those organizations. However, like Prescott, this author believes that AI, quote, will be most successful when working alongside humans, combining our ability to think imaginatively.
This should have been your second point after you come back. You are putting all your tools in front.
No, I'm just making that concession. So, you see, as lawyers, they tell you that put everything in front of the judge, so that they appreciate the weaknesses and the strengths of.
So you are saying, fair enough. Let me bring in Godfred. I want to say that the premise for this discussion is three. First premise is World Labor Day, where workers are asking for increased salary. It's not a bad thing. I'm saying that I listened to all the speeches across the country. I didn't hear any worker talk about their work being replaced by machines. And I'm thinking that it's closer to them than they think. That's number one. Second context is the context of ChatGPT being the fastest growing consumer application in the history of the world. I hope you know this.
Yeah.
the pace at which ChatGTP grew when it was launched in February, it grew faster than Instagram and TikTok.
Massive.
Google lost $100 billion in market capitalization. All right? And then, of course, because of this happened because Google had tried to demonstrate an AI product and it didn't happen well. People started questioning Google's ability to compete with OpenAI. So the context is that we may think that, Ghana, we are thinking about bread and butter and things. It's not true.
You're getting that.
The fastest growing consumer application in history. There's already TikTok. There's already Instagram. ChatGTP has had, in fact, let me give you some details about how ChatGTP grew. ChatGTP reached 100 million consumers. In fact, they had 100 million active users in January, just 2 months after it was launched. It was the fastest growing consumer application in history, according to UBS study on previous week. The report, citing data from analytics from some firms, said an average of about 30 million unique visitors had used ChatGTP per day in January, more than double the levels of December. In 20 years following the internet space, we cannot recall a faster ramp in a consumer internet app, UBS analyst wrote in a note. It took TikTok about 9 months after its global launch to reach 100 billion users, and Instagram 2.5 years, according to data from Sensor Tower. Wow. ChatGTP can generate articles, essays, jokes, and even poetry in response to prompts. OpenAI, a private company backed by Microsoft Corp, made it available to the public for free late December, and it grew to 100 million
active users.
Yes, in weeks. So that's the content. Now, Godfred.
Yes, boss.
Will AI
take over our jobs?
That's number one. And will it have a negative net effect or a positive net effect? Sky thinks the net effect will be positive, but he thinks that AI, we are so much under threat that he thinks we are too far behind, and that even the laughter he laughs, AI will take over. Just say AI is everything. In AI we trust. That's what he said.
I concluded by saying that there should be some working with human beings. So take that on board.
And we are saying all of it. We haven't brought the movies in here.
Yes.
Godfred, you are a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, I admit there are vulnerabilities. Okay, I admit there are vulnerabilities to certain sections of the working populace, especially where we live. And it was interesting listening to you talk about how ChatGPT, for instance, has grown in leaps and bounds since it came. I think the impact will depend on which spectrum that you find yourself in based on the equality or inequality standards. So on ChatGPT, for instance, what has been its weight in Ghana as compared to what it has done in the US and the UK, China, Japan the past month, or the past 2 months? Okay. That would be a legitimate question to ask.
So you're talking the Ghana context?
Yes, I'm talking about the Ghana context. And it's not even just the Ghana context. A lot of countries in...
Let's say Sub-Saharan Africa.
Sub-Saharan Africa. In our context, how much of an impact will it be? Which is where Sky comes in and says, okay. But the reason why I'm a bit low-key about this is... we've seen this before.
Have we seen this before?
Just that the pace is different. Okay, but we have seen... this before is the velocity scope and the systems impact that is different. Velocity scope and systems impact. So you've spoken about what ChatGPT, for instance, is doing. That's systems impact. All right, the speed at which this is developing, that's velocity. And then the sheer scope of it. Okay, the reason why I can talk about velocity because a couple of years ago, back then I had to sign an NDA. I was working somewhere else, and I was approached as leader of a journalistic team that, okay, there's something that we want to try. We've been building something. So what is it? So, okay, we want this thing to write reports and stories for you. And then you also write reports and stories on the same event, and we'll see how it goes. But for that system to be able to do that work, it has to be given a certain amount of fact. So we watched a football game together, and then a certain level of data was input into the system. And then I also wrote a match report. It did quite well. It got the facts right, put it together, but it was very straightforward. It was devoid of the emotion that I would input in. It was devoid of the descriptions of the event because the computer did not watch the match.
Okay.
I watched.
How did it generate the report then?
No, the data was put into it. So if the goal is scored in the 50th minute by Bernard Avle, 50th minute goal by Bernard Avle, cross by Abeku from the left side.
This is 2 years ago.
Oh, this is quite a while.
This is about 4 years ago.
Yes, you know. Now, if you look at what we have now, it's a significantly more advanced product than what I experimented with back then, which was in its experimental phase. But does that still give me a certain level of fear that tomorrow I will come and Bernard Avle will tell me that, Godfred, I have just been given a new system that means that can replace you. So go home. And that this morning the conversation is between myself, chatbot Ajwa, chatbot Kweku, and chatbot Aleki on the Citi Breakfast Show. I'm not afraid. It is not going to happen. The thing is this.
Sure.
The vulnerability lies with very specific work sets. At the moment where we are, AI is heavy on tasks that require very specific instructions, follows very specific rules, and are repetitive.
Thank you.
Which is why Sky spoke about, for instance, judges being replaced. They work with a very specific set of rules. There might be room for discretion, I don't know, but perhaps very minimal. But if you are caught for driving on the right side of the road or the left side of the road, the criminal law might be very clear. 3 months, you are fined 10 penalty points, this and this and that. But for jobs that have a strong human element, for instance, Chat AI has not reached the level where it can be a therapist. How is it going to?
How will it relate to your emotions?
Yeah.
So you've lost
cannot be a
loved
therapist.
one.
With therapy,
You've lost a loved one, and somebody needs to talk to a shrink, and they are trying to help you out of your emotional misery. How do you even input the data? So, and I'll give you a personal example. So, sorry to digress. When I lost my wife, I had a whole series of people talking to me. A psychologist came to administer a questionnaire, which frankly was like, what is this? Like, initially I wanted me to answer the questions on my own. And I was like, I didn't even have the emotional energy to answer the questions. So he actually came to me and started talking to me. And as he was talking, he was ticking the questions. Okay. Now, I didn't find that study useful, but his engagement with me one-on-one was more useful to me. So even though he filled the form and went to generation report that said that I am something, and therefore I should do this and that and that, I found his regular calls and talking to
more
me
useful.
And coming to play with the kids more useful than this whole.
Yeah, but you know that's based on the information.
Yeah,
he
but how
took
can
from
I
you.
give you the information when I'm not in an emotionally good state?
So
That's the thing. He's saying that emotion is not like it's not like my blood HP. If like you are measuring my blood sugar level, that's objective, that's factual. If you ask me how I feel, I may not even have an adjective to describe how I feel. So I can tell the AI I feel angry. Maybe it's actually bitterness. So I'm saying there's a limit to replacement of human emotion.
Yeah, that's what I'm
which
saying.
Which is emphasizing to admit.
And I'm also saying that, jobs that emphasize interpersonal skills are much more harder. I'm not saying impossible. Are much more harder to be replaced by an AI. And for that to happen, AI might have to reach what they call the AGI levels. That's the artificial general intelligence. That's human capacity. It has not yet reached there. But I admit Sky's fears about the progress, which is why I spoke about the velocity. That what I experimented with all those years from the Israeli company,
very different.
It's very different from what is happening now.
If AI listened to you and I for 6 years, I've done a show with you for 6 years.
Yes.
And this morning, I raised a point about Guta saying they were going to increase prices. And then you said, in Dansoman this weekend, there was some wig issue. And the market women said the people are selling
the Makolo women.
So if the data of my show and your show, like our interaction on the Breakfast Show the past 10 years was put in a system. If I came on a newspaper review next week and I read the story, will a robot be able to replicate the spontaneous response that you gave to my query.
That is where the AI struggles because of the lack of its interpersonal skills.
It doesn't know the things you and I know.
It can make certain predictions, but that lack of the understanding of the interpersonal reasoning that exists is very hard to replicate now. Now, the reason why I'm saying...
I even argue ever.
I am not feeling too... I am not
because AI will not follow you to the corners you go.
If
so it will know the things you do.
If the data is inside.
I am in flow. So, like I said, I admit the vulnerabilities, but I am saying that it has to be placed. When I'm saying we've seen this before, we've had disruptions. Computers came. Computers came. But Airbnb is part of the growth of AI anyway.
Yes.
So
Uber
and all those things. But I'm saying we've seen when computers came,
disruption.
When machines enter specialized, factories. Like he spoke about Toyota and Co. All right. Now it changed the way people work and what they do, and it did make some jobs redundant.
But the effect was not as.
But today we can't live without those things. We are there, and people have found other ways.
So you can't say that Toyota has sacked everybody because they are using machines. People are still working there.
Yes, and the thing is, history will tell you that, look, we've always lost jobs to technology. We've had the first industrial revolution.
Yeah.
We lost jobs to technology.
Yeah.
We had the second industrial revolution. We lost jobs to technology.
Yeah.
We had the third industrial revolution, which we are going through, and those people are even linking that. There's a long extension between the third and the fourth.
Now in the fourth industrial revolution, they call it.
Yes, so they call it. But I'm just saying, I see it as an extension.
An extension of the third.
Of the third. Okay. Anyway, just that at a very rapid pace. Okay. And we've still found ways to coexist with technology.
Shouldn't be afraid.
Not too much. So in my estimation, I think that
apocalypse is not yet here.
It is not yet here in my estimation.
Yeah,
and
no, I think that's a fantastic way of putting it. So I tend to agree more with you than with Sky, because I feel like Sky's like let me read something Clement sent. Clement says the work of judges cannot be replaced. Judicial decisions are based on public policy and a number of nuances which AI cannot do. Judicial decisions are territorial. Some principles are universal, but there are local considerations too. So he's back to your case study of a judge and the case in point.
You know how I respond to that?
Please.
The response to that is you are not going to use AI in a universal sense. All AI must be tweaked to understand the local context and then also to respond based on what the local rules and traditions are. All AI needs is full integration of the system into how we do things. So what is the Ghanaian position on, a particular matter? You take into consideration what statute says, what the constitution says, what our traditional norms are, because customary law is part of what we do and one of the laws that we recognize in our country. So if all of these things are properly integrated and fed into the system, that's why people say that it's garbage in, garbage out. Once you have fed the right information into the system and machine learning takes place, it will return a decision that would not for 100 years be inconsistent with, and because the information is there. But what you have is judges, for whatever reason, maybe the person is a former girlfriend, or maybe they were in school together, or maybe he's a friend. Some of these emotional touch points kick in the moment a judge is making a decision. So judicial inconsistency.
So your point is that legal principles are known.
Yeah.
But because of biases, sometimes judges don't apply those principles.
Yeah.
And AI will not have those biases. Okay. But the principles have to be applied in context.
Yeah.
And the context is based on the situation.
Yeah.
And the situation is known based on the facts presented.
Yeah.
Okay. So we still argue that with AI, it's the quality of the facts presented that determine the quality of his judgment.
That's the data.
Good. So I think that in the case where the assumption is that the facts presented are true and accurate, AI may do a better job. But there are times where the facts presented may not be complete. But a judge can use experience to fish out more facts, because there's also cross-examination. Do you understand? So you are talking about written addresses and all of those things. But I feel like judges are able to sense, for example, one of the judges was saying when they are in court and somebody's about to give testimony, the person's a bit nervous. So they can sort of say a few things for the person to relax, so the person will actually then remember and speak the truth. Okay, so we are going back to the issue of emotion and saying that emotion, so the judge's emotional intelligence can even say, let's call for a break before this witness is cross-examined, because if he feels that this witness is not themselves. Okay, now I'm saying that how will AI know that?
Let me give you a classic example. You know, when I wrote my bar exam in the UK, I wrote it in front of my laptop. The laptop was configured with AI, which is able to tell whether I am looking on some other paper while I'm writing the exam, or I am nervous by reason of, I'm trying to cheat in the exam, or that I have been away from the PC for far too long.
Hey.
Yeah, that's right. So the thing is programmed. They ask you to download it onto your PC. The moment you have downloaded it, it is able to tell. If you tilt your head towards the right for far too long, it will be able to read and know whether you are stressed or you are trying to do something.
But what if it's just your cat that's disrupting, disturbing you? How would the AI know that?
If it's your what?
So you
maybe something
your cat is in the corner and is worrying.
I'm trying to say that it's a question of determining stress levels.
Yeah, it will be flawed.
No, Bernard. You see, we have reached a state where if they put AI on you today, AI properly programmed, it will be able to understand whether or not you are your normal self or there's something on your mind as to what exactly is on your mind.
The heart of man is desperately wicked.
Who
can know it?
Why do we use...
you can't tell the state of my heart by the construction of my face.
No, I understand. That's why I'm saying that.
Even AI cannot.
Hold on. It is able to say that, look, Bernard on normal days should have A, B, C, D. But because of something, it will not be able to tell precisely that.
Let me read a comment that will help us. This is from Kingsley Osei. Kingsley says, AI. In Ghana, the robotic aspects will take time, but the aspects of repetitive work will go. These are 1, legal. 2, advertising. 3, marketing. 4, IT. I wonder why he doesn't add accounting, because I thought accounting is even more repetitive. But he says legal, advertising, marketing, and IT, basic software development. In a nutshell, AI eats data. So anywhere you have data flowing, AI will get there.
Powerful.
Immediate dangers. 1, banking and finance. AI is currently able to mimic voice and image of actual people. Just last week, as a test case in the US, an AI was used to impersonate a journalist and gain access to her bank details over a video call. 2, system security. AI can penetrate security systems and explore vulnerabilities. It can be used to create more complicated viruses and malwares. 3, surveillance. AI can be used by bad actors to outwit surveillance systems. Let's talk to Timothy Afrani Asari, who's the CEO of Copiento AI.
Copiento?
Yes, Copiento AI.
Pigman is at the forefront.
Timothy, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Fred.
The name of your company looks very scary. Copiento AI. Are you people into some copying things?
So, Copianto, Copianto is the local slang for copying something, right? So, our AI platform allows anybody to write something quickly. So, yeah, that's Copianto.
I see. We are talking about the disruptive nature of AI. My first premise is that Ghanaian workers yesterday in all 16 regions went talking about what they wanted government to do for them. And I didn't hear any of them talk about what AI could do to their jobs. Although there are many reports, the latest being the Goldman Sachs report of March, that said as many as 300 million jobs in Europe and North America could be wiped out when we use generative AI in our work. Is the threat of AI to work in Ghana that serious?
So thank you so much for the question. In brief, I wouldn't say it's very serious. As with any industry or any economy, AI really is going to change the way we work, the nature of the work that we do. And that's helping people do things differently, right? But I don't think we should be worried about AI actually replacing people. Yeah.
Why not?
You see, there are lots of things that AI can do that it needs a lot of things from human beings in order to be able to do that. For example, for AI to do something great, it has to work with some inputted data that you are providing it, right? And also, there are lots of things that are involved in this data that AI is able to use and then give you that output back. I just feel like AI is really good in the sense that it's going to help you do work faster. For example, let's say you want to research. You don't really need to spend weeks trying to read on something, to research in some area or topic before actually coming up with an article in that area. You can actually just use the power of AI to help you get started quickly. And then as a human being, there are lots of creativity that you can put into it. AI lacks a lot of things like soft skills, and it doesn't actually do the work like a human being. But there are lots of ways that it will change the way we do things. Yeah.
What about the fear of AI getting into wrong hands? There's a fear that competition among global tech giants could lead to deeper uses of generative AI. And if those technologies become available, it can be used to do bad things. For example, using it to create malware, right? And viruses and things like this. How concerned should we be about the potential effects of AI in wrong hands?
That's a good question. You see, as with anything, I think on the internet right now, cyber security is one of the biggest issues. Even when we talk about MTN mobile money, we've seen the way mobile money in the wrong hands are causing a lot of fraudulent activities, right? So the same with AI. I think there are a lot of disadvantages as well in terms of it getting into the wrong hands. And that's why, as we speak now, there are lots of institutions like the European Union coming up with policies to actually strengthen the implementation of this AI and, of course, make it very legally robust and something that will be difficult for people to get around wrongly.
By the way, how far behind are we in Ghana or maybe SSA, South Africa, when it comes to the uses of generative AI like ChatGPT and things? Like, are we so analog in the way we work that this risk is so far away, or could companies see the possibility of AI making them more productive and start using it to replace our work?
Yeah, so the good thing is that as we speak now, there are a lot of companies actually right here in Ghana that are using the power of AI to actually do things, and talk of agencies, technology companies, and then, of course, even SMEs that are not technology companies are using AI. But I just feel like the extent to which we are doing this is a bit slow paced compared to, the outside world there, like you said. So it's not far-fetched. It's something that anybody can use. I think if you're a business and you're listening to this, you probably want to start looking into how AI can help you cut down costs and do a lot of things like more efficiently, So there's that opportunity there. And once there's a gap here, then also means that there's an opportunity for people to take advantage and then do more. Yeah.
Thank you, Timothy, for your time. Timothy was on City Trends a few weeks ago, where he spoke about more of these things. So City Trends is a City FM program on Tuesdays. You can simply go on our SoundCloud, search for City Trends, and listen to this. Let's hear from you now. Godfrey, you didn't tell me whether your conclusion in terms of net, Sky says the net impact of AI will be positive.
Yeah, likewise.
You also think so?
Yes, I think so. I think what needs to happen is, for our space here, what companies need to invest in is either helping employees to upskill or reskill. If you understand what I'm saying, you understand. So that we can augment what AI does. Because at the moment, the biggest difference between us and AI is original thought. Okay. So once we have that, it's a significant...
What do you mean by original thought?
No, in terms of creating new knowledge. Let me put it that way. You understand? We are. I think we're a bit far away from a new scientific discovery born out of just AI. AI will support a new scientific discovery from a human being. If you understand the point I'm making. But AI by itself, at the moment, has not yet reached that point. We will get there. So I just see the fact that we need to augment ourselves. Admittedly, like I said, in certain spaces, jobs will be lost. But the history of man shows that this is what always happens. It's always about man finding ways to reskill or upskill, which is what leaves us even more vulnerable in Ghana, because the reskilling and the upskilling sometimes is absent. Okay, but for now,
Somebody said something that I'll read later. How do you avoid being replaced by AI? This article was written just last week.
Oh, okay.
I'd
love to read
portions of that for you. But I wanted Nathan to take us through some of the reactions to AI and jobs and predictability and all of those things on the Citi Breakfast Show. Time is 3 minutes past 9. We're still talking AI and what it can do. After Sky is like, Charlie, AI, no AI, Neko.
This one says, it looks like Bernard and a lot of people need more awareness on AI. The AI is already replacing voices of musicians or music artists, like Kanye singing a Justin Bieber song. People featuring artists on their songs with AI without the knowledge of the artist. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why they also talk about false pictures, false videos, and images.
So that's where regulation would have to come in to deal with.
But if the regulator doesn't understand how the thing works, how can you regulate? Because there's the problem. The development is secret. So the big companies are working on the thing, and there are people who are protecting the work. So the judicial system or the regulatory system doesn't even know that this is happening until they begin to deploy it.
They should know.
Okay.
This one says ChatGPT has its advantages, but Bernard, don't you think it will make people slow and not be able to think on their own? Atu is asking.
Some people think it will solve the problem. We shouldn't think about whether people are slow or fast. Once the problem is solved for us.
A typical example, when the calculators were invented,
Yeah.
people previously were using their head to do calculations. Now, the argument was, why you should use your head for better things? Why should you now be thinking of 10 times 10? No. Get a calculator to do that. Today, we are using computer. It makes your...
Has calculator made us worse off? Obviously not. It has not.
Necessarily. This one says, the debate has already been solved by the movie Terminator. In many AI movies. AI will eliminate humans completely.
So clearly, I need to update my video list. So I should go and watch Terminator. This is a new movie, right?
I see a Terminator.
Take your time. Take your time. I thought he's talking about a new...
No.
Terminator 3 and those things.
Kilankuto.
I thought maybe some new movie has come that he's talking about.
Kilankuto. Same Kilankuto.
Okay. By the time Terminator was done, not even 1/10 of the research that we know was now there. Yeah. So this is somebody's imagination.
But the truth is...
So how can Terminator solve something that was created only recently by a man who's retiring?
The truth is also that many of these things are happening, except that they don't come to the front line until...
But what I'm saying is that based on the facts we know about generative AI, yes, there are movies that try to predict these things, but the knowledge and use case we have now is not necessarily contemplated by some of these movies.
No, in fact, the Will Smith movie, what was it?
iRobot.
But it's a recent movie.
No,
iRobot came in the
6
noughties.
years ago.
No, in the noughties. Then it came out almost 20 years ago. You check.
iRobot. No.
We are around 15 years ago.
About 15 years ago.
iRobot is 2004.
But
15 years ago.
Terminator is like 1996.
But there have been several sequels.
iRobot is 2004.
But that is true.
But 2004 was when I graduated from university.
2004, we didn't have, WhatsApp, did we?
No, we did not.
We didn't have Facebook.
We did not.
So you see, when you look at it,
Is that...
it's serious.
But Terminator is 19 what?
Terminator came out
There are
late 80s.
various, what do you call it?
Late 80s.
Whatever.
All right, this one is from Kojo from Adenta. It says, for a country that can get simple things like SIM registration, traffic light management, electricity generation, etc., right? I think within the next few decades, Ghanaian society will have no worries about AI. Let's focus on the brick and mortar stuff.
Could I agree?
That's a low blow.
No, it's not. But that's why I was telling you about where we fall within the spectrum.
We are not part of the party.
Not in the proportions that bring a dent into the system like you are looking for.
All right.
Yet.
Yeah, this one says...
No, read that text.
It says, for a country that can get simple things,
he's right.
like SIM registration, traffic light management, electricity generation, etc., I think within the next few decades, Ghanaian society will have no worries about AI. Let's focus on the brick and mortar stuff.
The future started years ago. We are already late.
All right. This one says, Bernard, I'm using AI to trade currency and it profits every day. Kofi in the UK. So you see, I think that functions that do a lot of math and that kind of thing, AI will, if you are coding, for example, you can always get a code and get yourself going. My take is this: the two can live together. That's my take. This one says, AI has been tested on accounting and it failed.
Okay.
Please prompt Sky. It's not as rosy as he said.
So the accountants seem to be pushing back because I said that you don't say AI will replace law. But it looks like accounting is more nuanced. They are saying that, in fact, Ali Nacha sent me something where
an accounting avatar.
Yeah, he said technology chat GPT less than 50% accurate in accounting exams, steady fines. Some Alberti accounting students found to be considerably more capable across the board. So AI know they see accounting top.
Anyway,
yes.
let's go.
For now.
Of time, yeah.
All right, this one says, on the issue...
Look, I actually thought you should see, I thought accounting was much...
It's just a matter of time.
Anyway.
Well, was this cost accounting or financial accounting?
We'll see. This one says, on the issue of AI, I think it's going to be more beneficial than damaging. I'm a developer. And to be honest, we are the first line of workers that... fear to be affected with the advent of AI. However, it's made me more productive than ever. It beats reasoning to an extent, but it is efficient than man. I believe it's here to stay. It won't really replace people. It will replace redundancy and inconsistency. That's your codes from Adenta.
Get a lot of text from Adenta today.
This one says, in fact, if this AI comes to Africa, it will not survive because brothers will stone it.
Like they did at the road tolls, they told they introduced automation. Boys you go there, the thing will lift on its own. People went to sabotage it.
All right, this one is from an anonymous texter. This one says, I work in a bank in Ghana, and I can tell you we can currently do without all our tellers. As we have ATMs that take deposits and pay withdrawals with minimum error.
Yes.
We are still keeping our tellers just because of a lack of jobs.
But that's true because there are a lot of places.
But some of our customers also prefer tellers. The old people. They don't like the ATM. They don't understand the ATM.
Yeah, so that one you go to you go to the help desk to get that sorted. But in a lot of places, yes,
some ATMs take money.
Do everything.
I once traveled out of this country. I think I was going somewhere. I got to one of these airports. There was no human being there.
I'm sorry, Ben. I've told you my Tesco story.
Yeah, you've told me.
My
Tesco story.
You had to scan the thing yourself. Tell it. I was sweating.
Ghana boy who went to Tesco and wanted to buy stuff. I was standing there. This one says, at this point, AI should become our president. Yeah, Bright Ocho from Dawenya. Kofi Inosu says, is Sky the Ghana agent for AI? He advocates and defends it religiously.
He's just telling you that he's read a lot about it and he knows how it works.
Stuff. This one says, I disagree with Sky. AI cannot replace our judges. Although the precedent has a role to play in justice delivery, there are also novel cases where the judge may depart from a precedent. Take the 31st December case, for instance. The judges considered the spirit of the law to decide that public funds could not be used to celebrate the revolution. Granted that some judicial systems or legal profession rules will be affected, but the role of the judge cannot
you know what I'm going
replaced.
to do? Don't worry. You and the question of law team can have a discussion about this. Because Koshiga agrees with you, but Clement disagrees with you. So you can moderate a discussion between them for a special edition to go into the merits and the demerits. So we will not resolve that here. There are a few more comments still on Citi Breakfast Show. It's 11 minutes past 9. We're talking AI. A few more comments have come. Bernard, the effects of AI is disruptive in the following in relation to human capital: retooling, reskilling and deskilling and upskilling. In a nutshell, AI will complement human effort in relation to jobs. However, not necessarily human capital reduced to zero without jobs. Benny Ntema. Now, before we go, I'll give you the 5 ways in which you can AI-proof your job so you don't get redundant. But Nathan will read a few final comments.
Okay, this one says human beings. Before that, can AI replace politicians?
Kofi B wants to know.
All right, this one says.
But they only replace the data you put inside. So they will get worse politicians.
That is why those of us who support AI deployment in many of these fields say that the AI will only be as good as the data fed. So we have to be meticulous in choosing who is programming.
so that we can avoid the biases that could lead to some of the problems that you're talking about. Please go on.
All right, this one says, human beings, as a presiding judge, may pardon a speeding driver whose wife was in labor and had to violate road traffic rules to save his wife and baby. AI will not have that human sympathy to pardon such a case. Rules are rules for AI, no humanitarian grounds.
But if you feed the data that the woman had a child or something, do you think the AI will not add that as an extenuating circumstance?
I see. So I was recently telling you about the defense of necessity, what Justice Denning said some time ago.
It will be in the system.
So it's a question of what data is fed in, and of course the latitude of departure that AI has to decide whether or not it falls within the bandwidth within which to say this is allowable or this is not allowable.
Okay. All right. This one says, Bernard, just have a chat with Alexa, for example, and you become a convert.
But you don't even know my position on this. I'm not against AI. I'm just saying that we are not discussing it because we think we are so far behind. But this is my problem. We will sit down, people will develop the whole thing, and then they'll come to our government after 10 years and say they are bringing an AI system that we should go and buy. That will help to reduce road accidents on our streets. And they'll pay $200 million for it. And we'll use public funds to go and pay for it. Like, for example, they said they were going to do revenue assurance with something. My point is technology is something we should also originate and think about usage. And not wait for some people to develop it. And then we'll use taxpayers' money through a big loan to go and collect it and to be poorly deployed. That's the way I see it. Most of the technologies we bring into Ghana on a large scale are technologies made from outside, which don't really work. Anyway, a few more comments and then we move.
All right. This one says AI will definitely be controlled by people. But the bigger question is, who will these people be? And what is their ultimate aim? I see. I'm not too worried about AI overtaking humans. The human brain is the power. Creativity behind AI, using our 10 to 15% capacity. Can you imagine what we could do with, say, 25 or 30%? My worry is when some humans pervert the objectives of any bot and AI tool, just as we see some have done with music, movie, sex, and skills. Just as today, some say allow children to select and change their gender to even non-gender, so too can someone decide to remove any limitations to a tool that already has no emotions. Even some humans with emotions murder. Okay.
Then a metal
doesn't. I see.
He said that,
All right. This one says the preponderant level of hold AI goes soon over humanity. I watched a horrifying gripping YouTube video of Yuval Noah Harari, the author of Sapiens, painting a bleak picture of this AI age on Piers Morgan's Uncensored show. He said we haven't seen anything yet, and that AI was just the beginning. It was taking its first tiny baby steps.
Hey.
Yes.
And you.
All right. This one says, while AI can certainly be useful in helping journalists gather and analyze data, as well as generate some type of content, it is unlikely that AI can fully replace human journalists in the near future. Journalism involves much more than just data analysis and writing articles.
Skills.
It also involves asking questions, seeking out sources, conducting interviews, developing a deep understanding of the context and nuances surrounding a story. These are tasks that require human judgment, critical thinking, and empathy, which are not easily replicated by AI.
Not easily replicated. Let's underline that.
Yeah, okay. Furthermore, AI-generated content still lacks the creativity, personal touch, and originality that human journalists bring to their work. It says, in short, AI can complement and enhance the work of journalists.
Let me talk to Kweku Bwedu, IT law lecturer at University of Ghana, who's done a lot of work in this area. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us. Should we be worried here in Ghana that generative AI like ChatGPT could soon replace a lot of the work we do?
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to your listeners. Should we be worried? No. I don't have that. I don't hold that view. Now, what we currently call AI, like using ChatGPT as an example, is text, using text-based sources to generate, let's say, a letter, to generate an answer to a question, And what ChatGPT does is actually it takes content on the internet and filters the content using your question or using whatever proposition that is made, and filters that content to attempt to create an answer to the question or the proposition being discussed. If you emptied the internet completely of all data, ChatGPT cannot answer you. So to start with, we call it generative only because there's information stored that it goes to gather and presents to us. Now, that's not how human beings work. When we say a human being is able to create. But in this case, ChatGPT is creating nothing. So the example that I gave, if you empty the internet of all its data, ChatGPT will tell you it doesn't have an answer. If you ask ChatGPT, who is the president of Ghana in 2022, it tells you it doesn't have an answer because its data cutoff is 2021. Okay, so that immediately tells us when we say generative AI, it's a little bit of an exaggeration. But we human beings kind of, when you ask a human being a question, you expect an answer. So when you ask ChatGPT a question and answers you, then we human beings then begin to ascribe human qualities to that which has answered you. And this is what is leading to the, as you call, exaggeration over ChatGPT.
But what about there was a report by Goldman Sachs in March that about 300 million jobs in the US and Europe may be lost to artificial intelligence, and they specifically mentioned administrative and legal as the two most vulnerable areas. So now this question is not just on the Ghana side, as a general tool globally. Do you see that level of disruption with AI?
Yes, I read that report. But that report goes ahead to also talk about the number of jobs that will be created, and we don't talk about that. We talk about the lost jobs that will be lost. Yes, whenever there is new technology, when the world experienced the agriculture revolution, okay, one tractor replaced a lot of farm hands. And so news headlines will then go, 300 million farm hands will be lost. Okay, but today we know that it was actually a good idea. Okay, so new technologies always come, and we ascribe such things to it. Yes, some jobs are lost, some jobs will be lost, new jobs will be created. Okay, when we entered the Industrial Revolution, when we started using machines rather than people weaving with their hands, yes, jobs were lost. But what happened to jobs that got created? What happened to the human quality that got improved? Again, when we entered the computer generation, jobs were lost. And again, the headlines went, everybody was scared, and there's this new device which is going to make us lose our jobs. Okay. But now looking back, you realize that, really, it was a good idea. Okay. So, yes, that report, in the first place, is a guesswork. Okay. But then if you take it within context, it's like, oh, of course, this is what human beings have known. This is what we've seen all along. So, yes, there will be, once you are combining information from all over the internet, then you can generate a response to a certain letter. Okay, which may not be accurate, which is actually the danger. If we say we should fear artificial intelligence, the real danger is the misinformation part of it. Okay, I was looking for competition law in Ghana, and it brought me a law. And eventually I discovered that it was a Pakistani law. Okay, but once you get a response, human beings then assume it is true. So a lot of the talk about ChatGPT and about, I would say, so-called AI, has to do with the fact that truth may be killed, may be sacrificed. That is a danger, because now you don't know what is true and what is not. Once it is generated by a computer, we are all going to assume that it is true. And what effect is it going to have on elections, for instance? Because once a computer generates something about a candidate, it gets spread, and then we all assume it is true. And then if somebody has really done something wrong, and the news people generate it, then the person says, this is AI. This is AI generated.
All right. My final question is the comments made by the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, who quit Google yesterday. And as you rightly said, he pointed to the dangers of misinformation. But he also warned that because of the competition between Google and Microsoft in the search space, there could be use cases of AI that could potentially be destructive. And he says that because a lot of these new technologies are done in secret, they will be so far ahead of regulation that by the time we discover what is happening, it will be too late. And particularly if they fall into the wrong hands. So it appears that he has regretted even creating the pathway for the usage of this type of generative AI. Do you share his pessimism?
I do, but you notice that Hinton was more focused on the issue of misinformation. The issue of, it is actually, I was quoting him when I said truth will be lost. We're going to lose truth. Okay, so Hinton is not talking about, it's normally when we use the phrase AI, it suggests, without anybody saying it, that we are going to create, the human beings are going to create God. Human beings are going to create a certain spirit. Human beings are going to create a certain intelligence, which is going to take over. This is how our brains go. Okay. Hinton was talking about the crucifixion of truth. Okay. Because the nature of the technology is that you collect existing data and you pass it through what in AI engineering called a black box. Okay. And you don't know what's going on within that black box. This is what everybody is talking about, that we don't know what's going on within that black box. But if you peep into the black box, they are mathematical equations. Okay. No spirit is getting created there. They are pure mathematical equations, and you are dealing with chips. You are dealing with computer technology, electronics. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if we say, how is it going to threaten the legal fraternity? I say, I mean, the legal fraternity is going to get more jobs. Okay. Yes.
I like the way you analyze things. Some people are saying that with GPT 4.0, which is 500 times more advanced and is to a large extent self-regenerative, it can improve itself without human intervention. This is where the real danger is. In fact, people are even sending me movies that are pointing to a time where these robots take over the world, because this is a technology that is different from, like in previous advances in technology, we've been able to control the technology's advancement. But in this particular case, when the computers get that much data, they can use that data to create more knowledge on their own without our intervention, and therefore they can destroy us. I don't know what you make of that.
Yeah, that's science fiction. And we love science fiction. We love to think about that. Okay. What I'm saying is, you pick existing data. Let's say you pick A, B, C, D, and you pick E, F, G, and you pass them through a black box. You don't know what's going on there. And then it comes out to give you EAD. And then we call that new knowledge. It is not. But so long as that so-called new knowledge is useful, as in it's generated a response to a letter that the company received, then you no longer need a secretary to do that. Okay. But new knowledge has not been created. It's been a combination. This is the reason why the Europeans are passing a law that says that ChatGPT should always disclose where it got this information from, because you are infringing somebody's copyright. So the law they are going to impose on AI is that every AI tool should disclose where did you take this information from. Okay, so yes, it is a useful tool. It will be a useful tool. It's not different from, it's an advanced, let me put it, it's an advanced spell checker, it's an advanced search engine. Okay, because all it is doing is searching the internet, combining information, and then concisely packing it for you. Okay, so it is very useful rather than Google giving me 100 sites, and then it is for me to now pick those sites, pick the information from those sites, and bring them together. So we are moving to the next stage where now the computer is doing this for us. Okay, and we have chosen to call it AI. Remember, there's a marketing tend to this. Because OpenAI says, now anybody who lost this, come and pay us $20 a month. Okay, so it is useful, but does it threaten us the way it is being portrayed? As to the extent that the tractors threatened manual jobs, yes. But it's not something that we should be so scared about. Otherwise, we have to stop students from using Google, because Google is so Google is, if I may call it AI 1.0, and ChatGPT is AI 2.0. Otherwise, we have to remember we didn't want students to use calculators, because the slide rule was there and you suffer to do your mathematical calculations. And then here comes calculators. And we were like, hey, we will not allow students to use calculators. Today's calculator, we realize that, it was a good idea. Okay. So yes, it is useful. Okay. However, it is not that scary as we put it. A lot of the things we hear in the press are borrowed from science fiction. Okay. And human beings think that there's going to be a day when a certain machine is going to come and act like it is a god. Okay, and start creating things. It's compare an AI engine, in the way the AI processes information and gives out information, to a one-day-old human being, a one-day-old child. And there's absolutely no way of that comparison.
Okay. So you are cool about AI. You are not as hyper and agitated.
I encourage my students to use it.
Wonderful. Thank you for your insights. Kweku Boedu is an IT law lecturer, University of Ghana, who, from what he said, suggests that the debate is tilted towards Godfred more than Sky. He's cooler about AI and he feels like, Charlie, let's not run ahead of ourselves. Sky, cool down. According to Babin, say cool down. We'll take a break. This is Citi Breakfast Show. Standard Water has over 25 years in providing quality and refreshing water to quench your thirst. This refreshing water brand is available in the regions of Ghana, and we are still expanding to cover the rest of the country. Standard Water gives you the following: bottled, sachet, dispenser mounted jar, and customized water for your parties and other special occasions. For quality drinking water, drink Standard Water. Call 0202 055703. This advert is FDA approved.
Now, the attention of the management of Latex Foam has been drawn to the fraudulent activities of some persons who dupe unsuspecting members of the public via social media trade. Latex Foam wishes to state clearly that it does not do trading on social media, and whoever transacts business on Latex Foam products on such platforms is doing so at their own risk. The management therefore wishes to alert the public to such activities, and they advise the public against payments for its products using social media trading. It further advises the public to visit the showrooms of Latex Foam and accredited dealers across the country for its high quality products. Are you looking for a career in business analysis? Build your business analysis skills, get the business analysis certification, and be sure to capitalize on the high demand across industries. In today's corporate world, business analysts are ever more critical to delivering the best business outcomes for their organizations. Call the Center for Business Analysis on 0246 809 200 or visit their website www.centerforanalytics.com. Now, if traveling is your thing and you want to travel inside Ghana, Copan has put together a lovely package. You get to visit the Adom Asinema and Boti waterfalls on May 20 for 600 cedis, and there's a 100 cedi discount for all old clients and the first 20 persons to register. They also have the Dubai Kenya package, which is running from June 23 to 29. For $1,400 double sharing and $1,600 single occupancy. You can get in touch with Copan Hospitality on 0556 965 924 or 0262 349 886. Copan Hospitality, tourism at its best.
We'll be right back with more. This is the Citi Breakfast Show. Stay with us.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
Anytime is a good time to have a break. Introducing Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's perfect for break times, party times, movie times, and snack times. Savor the moment. Enjoy Munchie Anytime Crackers anytime. Munchie Anytime Crackers. It's light and tasty.
This outfit is FDA approved.
In a world that's always moving, it's important to have a bank that shares your values and your spirit of perseverance. A bank that understands what it takes to succeed and is there to help you every step of the way. Whether starting a business, building a home, or planning for retirement, we're committed to providing you with the highest level of service and support. We understand the changing times and are ever ready to partner you. We accept your challenge and are ready to build tomorrow with you, because our values of responsible, effective, and decisive, just like yours, have brought us success over the years. And we are committed to helping you achieve your goals today and tomorrow.
Come back, forward together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Welcome back. There's still the Citi Breakfast Show. You can send in your comments on 0549 986 996. We'll do a lot more of your comments, but let's switch tracks. Let's talk a bit about turning your fortunes around, getting a house, all of that. I've got Richmond Echampon-Daku, his business manager at You Go Flip. Yeah, I'm sure you've been hearing the ads and all of that. Let me welcome Richmond. Richmond, good morning. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
Ethan. I'm well. How are you too?
Yeah, I'm okay. The last time we spoke, you introduced You Go Flip to us. I'm sure we'll go through a bit more, for context sake, for those who may have missed that conversation. But you have the game where people play for a house. So let's start off with that one. as a follow-up on my last discussion. How is that one going? Are people playing? Are they winning the houses?
Nice to be back here, Nathan, and good morning to your listeners worldwide. I'm happy to be back here. You Go Flip is, like you know already, a real estate game company.
Yes.
The game for the house is still on.
Great.
Nobody has won the house yet because the condition is that all tickets must run out before the house is given out.
Okay.
And if tickets don't run out, people win money, which is proportionate to the number of tickets that have been bought. But because of that challenge, because of that, the fact that the house tickets are a lot, it takes a bit of time to run out and all that. I mean, players kept telling us, whilst we wait for the one for the house to run out, why don't you introduce games that we can win or prize that we can win intermittently? So today, mainly, I want to throw more light on a game that people have been winning. There have been winners. There was a winner even yesterday. The game is called Cash and Save.
I see.
You Go Flip has this idea of savings. You can't save more.
That's true.
Any one ticket you buy, you gain a loyalty point, and every loyalty point is $3. So at You Go Flip, we have introduced this game called Cash and Save. It is a game where players buy tickets for 25 cedis as usual.
Okay.
Then every ticket you buy saves you $3. Then at the end of the month, whether tickets run out or not, that's the difference between that and the one for the house.
Okay.
Whether tickets run out or not, it will be drawn. Then the winner takes 20,000 Ghana cedis cash.
Okay.
Then every ticket that has been bought as well, the person wins loyalty points.
I see.
So that is the game that we are really throwing more light on now.
Okay. So are those parts of the games that are available to be played now?
Right. When you go to www.yougoflip.com right now, or you go or you dial our short code. Now we have a short code *920 *336 hash. Okay. When you dial any of them and you register, you will see Cash and Save.
Cash and Save.
Cash and Save. It is there on the website now. In fact, when you go to yougoflip.com now, that game will display for you to see.
I see.
When you hit it and you haven't registered, you have to register first.
And then let's walk through. So I see it. I'm interested. I
Okay.
register, and then what follows?
Right. So when you register, you register with your phone number or your email address, like you've been saying. We take registration details so that when you win, we can be able to contact you. Nobody takes your prize. Your prize doesn't go to anyone. And I must say that You Go Flip is the fairest online game in Africa. And I want to use this video to announce that You Go Flip is the fairest online game in Africa. Nobody can influence it. I cannot influence it. You, Nathan, cannot influence it, and maybe it's a challenge to our professors who are into the computer science and all those kinds of things, that nobody can influence the outcome of the You Go Flip game. So when one goes there, one enters yougoflip.com, you will be presented with the Cash and Save. When you hit it, you'll be asked to register. You register with your phone number or your email address. Either of them is fine. You provide some details, like I said, that will make us be able to reach you when you win.
Okay.
Then you purchase your ticket. You purchase the ticket with your mobile money. Right. You can purchase as many tickets as you want. One ticket is 25 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Right. So right after you purchase the ticket, all you need to do is wait for the draw, or you buy more tickets. So as we say, the more tickets you buy, the higher your chances of winning. So you either wait for the draw to the game to be drawn, or you purchase more tickets in wait of it.
Okay.
Because remember, Nathan, we are trying to solve a larger problem.
Yes.
We know that not everybody will win the 20,000. We know that not everybody will win the house instantly. But we are trying to solve a larger problem, and that problem is that we want people to be able to save for a house or a service plot. When you come to Pram Pram now, we also have a service plot. We have service plots that we are selling as emerald properties. And if you amass these points, you can use that as a down payment for the house or for the service plots.
Okay, great.
Right.
You mentioned the loyalty points. Let's just spend some time just discussing it so people are clear in their mind as to what these loyalty points are and how that particular system works.
Right. So You Go Flip has a real estate affiliate called Emerald Properties. Emerald Properties has been in the property industry for well over 25 years, building homes for Ghanaians, and foreigners, at cantonments, Laboni, and all that are prime areas. But we have this development at Pram called Sole Lagoon Estates.
Okay.
It's affordable housing, 1 bedroom, 2, 3 bedrooms, and all that. The place is fully gated. There are children's playground, 2 tennis courts, and a whole lot of other facilities there. We also have service plots that we are selling over there. So what we are saying is that any ticket that you purchase on YouGoFlip with the idea to win a prize, or with the view or the intention to win a prize, we are saying that just for purchasing the ticket, you have you gain loyalty points. So Nathan, it will amaze you that there are people who come onto our platform. They purchase the ticket not because they want to win in the prize.
But
that's the interesting thing.
But because they want
to yes, because of the loyalty points. Because they tell you that it is a way of saving. And the good thing is that the loyalty points accumulate for you whether you win or you don't. So any one ticket gives you a loyalty point, and that loyalty point could be redeemed when you want to purchase a house or a service plot from YouGoFlip.
I see. Great stuff there. So at least that's how the loyalty point system works.
Yes.
Wonderful. I think so broadly, if people want to play, they come onto the website, they sign up, and then they put in their details,
right,
and all of that, right?
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes.
Okay. So somebody's listening to us, they want to get in touch. How can they get in touch? And if there's any other piece of info you want to put out there, why not?
Right. So I want to say that you can either play on www.ugoflip.com, and the YouGoFlip is spelled UGOFLIP. UGOFLIP.
I'm happy you've mentioned it, because
Right.
I've had people send me messages. Oh, they want YouGoFlip's contact, and they write something that they think is YouGoFlip.
Right.
So I'm happy you've mentioned it.
www.ugoflip, spelled UGOFLIP.com. When you go there, you see the games. And those who have what some people call YAM phones, the non-smartphones,
yes.
you can go to *920 *336#. I repeat, *920 *336#. When you dial, it will ask you to register. After registering, you can purchase your ticket.
Okay.
You can purchase any number of tickets you want. Then
you can purchase on the website.
You can purchase on the website.
I see.
And you can purchase through the USSD. So if you want to reach us, you want to ask questions, you have anything bothering you, you can either WhatsApp 055 133 9879. 055 133 9879. You can call, you can WhatsApp, you can send an SMS. And if you want to send an email to, you can reach us on info@ugoflip.com.
I see.
info@ugoflip.com.
So that's the website people should visit. So log on to the website, get your points, set up your account, do all of those things, provide the details, and you could be on your way to winning a house and all of that. Richmond, just final words for those out there and people who are interested, those who know and those who don't know. What have you got to tell them finally before we wrap up?
So what we are saying is that YouGoFlip is in to change fortunes. We are in to solve a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
We are very fair. The game cannot be influenced by anybody, and I repeat it. The game cannot be influenced by me. It cannot be influenced by you, Nathan, or anybody.
Nobody can influence.
Actually, it is built on the blockchain. Let me say it that way.
Okay.
Nobody can influence the game. So it is very fair. It is into flip fortunes, and everybody has a chance. Every ticket has a chance, and every one ticket you buy saves you loyalty points that you can use as a down payment for a house or a service plot.
Great. So that was Richmond, a champ on that. He's business manager at YouGoFlip. To get in touch with them, visit their website, buy those loyalty points, play the games, and win big. Richmond, thank you once again for coming through.
Thank you.
All right. This is still the Citi Breakfast Show. Your comments are welcome on 0549 986 996.
God will hold me down, not for don't grace. But I'm always grateful for the many blessings where they come my way. He don't show me love, but belly done they are missed. Baba God there for me, them feet try no go reach, them never see nothing, yeah. I see no show for body, oh, we bless over. Cause if it show, therefore don't use me, cash cruise all over. Them they wait, oh, make a I fall back, make us start all over. But them no, say the cup don't fool it, they run over. We keep thanking God for life, for life. We keep thanking God for life. We keep thanking God for life, for life. We keep thanking God for life.
People talk, people mock, but they no go feed walk my walk. Yeah. And even if I shall I hear the price where I pay, them I go say something. No luck, just blessing. I don't learn many lessons. That's right. All I can say, now thank you for your grace and mercy. This
is the City Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
This is a bank, First Atlantic Bank, a shining purple star to brighten up my day. First Atlantic Bank, professionally different services all day long. First Atlantic Bank, and it feels so cool. I know this is where I belong. Come on, everybody, this is a bank like no other. First Atlantic Bank. Follow me, let's go now. Let's go, let's bank. This is a bank like no other. Let's bank. This is a bank like no other. First Atlantic Bank.
First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
Hey, close up. Ever fresh air, ever fresh air. Ever fresh air, ever close up.
All new Close Up Everfresh. Wait, Charlie, what's new? It now has a triple fresh formula that cleans, protects, and cools. Thanks to a powerful combination of 1, a purifying gel, 2, an antibacterial mouthwash formula, 3, ice cool crystals. That cleans, fights up to 99% bacteria, and intensely cools. Fresh breath. Keeps you protected and fresh long after brushing. Close Up Triple Fresh formula. Cleans, protect, and cools. Close Up Everfresh. Grab yours now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Bet365 is now officially available in Ghana. When you place a pre-match multi-bet on football, you go get bonus up to 70% to your winnings if your bet is successful. You can choose from markets like full-time results and both teams to score, from selected competitions including the Premier League, Champions League, and much more. Get this great offer when you visit the official site at bet365.com.gh. Over 18s only. Terms and conditions apply. Please gamble responsibly.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Menya bibi ni besia mamenya niya ameme de makumenya mama no baby I made dream to men san mun ko biemo mepeyina ka ami baby I made dream to men san me chil mun ko biemo mepeyina ka na me yama o odonu go fu bin sase Mosima moda kofu pinta so Efibo wasembade akukudiri na wuka senti wasembado Baby I made dream to mensan mechiri na munkobio Maka selo wantase Ami baby I made dream to mensan mechiri munkobio mu Mepe ina kana me yama o you do love kitchen. Mafia with pepper soup, you love chicken. In the book, you do love kitchen. I mean, mafia with pepper soup, you love chicken. Until for fry, I get to fry, you fancy natty. At Chicho, I told you I'm not the sayati. Most of my so me more, boy, romantic. Other woody nakumemo, okay, you namantic. Me who nakul boy, I'm the mommy, you know your nonsense. When they told them, say the fact is, yeah.
To 8 minutes to 10. Let me end with the report from our Upper East Regional correspondent for this year's May Day celebrations which took place at Bolgatanga. Fred Awuni was there, and this is a summary of what happened.
May 1 every year is set aside to celebrate Ghanaian workers for their contribution to national development. This year's May Day, celebrated in Bolgatanga in the Upper East region, was on the theme Protecting Incomes and Pensions in an Era of Economic Crisis, Our Responsibility. The celebration saw workers from both formal and informal sectors of the country showcase their respective institutions. The labor unions expressed worry at their poor working conditions. Addressing the occasion, Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, TUC, Dr. Yao Ba, called for a review of the single spine salary structure to reflect the prevailing economic challenges.
We will no longer accept a situation where Article 71 office holders are awarded huge pay increases with fat allowances, while some workers on the single spine continue to receive less than 600 Ghana cedis per month. We are therefore calling on you, Mr. President, to ensure that the single spine pay policy is reviewed to reflect this reality. We believe strongly that government can lead us out of this crisis. And the government can do so by cutting expenditure on non-essentials, including the need to stop spending our hard-earned revenue on a national cathedral.
In a bid to address Ghana's economic crisis, government is seeking a $3 billion IMF bailout. President Nana Akufo-Addo assured Ghanaian workers that his outfit is working assiduously to fulfill all requirements at securing the IMF Executive Board approval.
After achieving a staff-level agreement with the IMF in December 2022 in record time, 6 months after beginning the negotiations in July 2022, we've continued to work tirelessly to complete all prior actions required to present Ghana's program to the IMF Executive Board for approval. We've also made substantial progress on the debt exchange program, as well as on our engagements with bilateral creditors to secure financing assurance required for the IMF program. We are assured that the next round of meetings of the Paris Club will result in the formation of an official creditor committee, inclusive of China, and the provision of financing assurance. The IMF and the World Bank have been very supportive in this journey. With the progress made so far, we expect the IMF board to consider Ghana's program for imminent approval after the financing assurances are provided.
But some labor unions have been expressing their frustrations about what they describe as government's lackadaisical attitude in addressing their concerns.
Service workers are not happy. We are not happy because we are the third arm of government rendering critical service to the people of Ghana. Unfortunately, our salaries has not been reviewed for 2 years, 4 months now. We were supposed to have our salaries reviewed and paid to us in the month of January 2022. That has not been done. We've gone through a lot. The COLA that we were enjoying ended in December, and we thought that government would have expedited action for us to enjoy a new salary where the cola was going. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
We want to call the president to really look at the taxes. The taxes are actually not going to help the country, because usually we speak more about the public sector workers, but we also have the private sector, which are contribution to nation development. Now, with all these taxes, we can be sure that a lot of employers in the private sector are going to lay out workers.
Jolly Yatauno, Junone, Inele Junone, Yatauno, Jolly Yatauno, Junone, Inele Junone, Enela Hunwe Shami, Nyongwe Imi Wekwenye Miehe, Nuiwale Yatauno, Shiofito Be. Enela hunwe shami nyongwa imi duwe wumi ehe nwe wole ya tano shofito be. Enela hunwe shami nyongwa imi wekwe kwa mi ehe nwe wole ya tano shofito be. Enela hunwe shami nyongwa imi duwe wumi ehe nwe wole ya tano shofito be.
Are you listening? Go and look for your own.
Yataono, vegetola.
That's what they are saying.
Yataono, yeah.
Is that the Ramblers? Or is it who? E.T. Mensa, okay.
No he wale ya ta no shofito be.
All right, we'll leave the show here today. Thank you for listening. Time for City News at 10, and then we have Branch in the City. Caleb Kuda has the details. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning, Bernard. Coming up on City News at 10. Ghana National Fire Service retrieves lifeless body of a trapped worker at Adenta, and Ghana Union of Traders Association hints of increasing prices of goods and services following implementation of 3 new taxes. The details. One person has died after being trapped in a collapsed story building and construction at Medina in the Greater Accra region. 3 others sustained injuries and were sent to the hospital for treatment after the incident that happened yesterday. Officials from the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, Ghana National Fire